Okay. Jadi sebagaimana saya, maaf ada sedikit technical issue tadi. Jadi sebagaimana yang anda tahu, kita hadir pada hari ini untuk mengadakan sedikit sesi pembentangan dan juga perkongsian lah berkenaan dengan penulisan kertas kerja ataupun research proposal writing. Jadi pada hari ini kita diberi kesempatan, kita diberi inilah diberi rezeki pada hari ini untuk mendapatkan seorang tetamu guest speaker di bawah khas daripada National Institute of Health. Beliau adalah Dr. Asyraf Syahmi. Jadi Dr. Asyraf Syahmi dia telah berada dalam bidang research ethics dan juga research surveillance ni untuk buat masa yang lama juga lah. Jadi dia mempunyai sedikit sebanyak pengalaman jugalah yang dia boleh kongsi bersama dengan kita untuk dijadikan sebagai panduan untuk dalam penulisan research research proposal ni. Jadi tanpa melengahkan masa, saya menjemput Dr. Asyraf Syahmi untuk memulakan pembentangan. Persilakan.
Okey. Sekejap Sekejap. Alright, terima kasih kepada Dr. Zaidani. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat pagi. Minta maaf lah kita lambat, start lambat sikit sebab pagi tadi pun saya ada isu yang orang kata tak dapat nak elak. Tapi I am glad that today I have the opportunity to join you guys just to give a bit of, kita panggil exposure lah. Mungkin nak kata crash course pun boleh. Okay. Hopefully because for the past weeks, Dr. Zai has approached me just to help him lah kan, because currently as far as I know, you guys are just recently joined the course organ donation kan, for the master course. So you guys have been asked by your university to come up with a research proposal. Okay, so most of you, I understand that you guys kebanyakan dia tak ada lagi research punya exposure, which is fine, it's okay, because for some people research can be quite intimidating, orang cakap kan. Okay, tapi sebenarnya research ni kalau betul-betul tahu macam mana nak buat, it can be very very interesting lah. Okay, and for today, saya telah diberi, orang panggil, kesempatan untuk berikan penerangan berkaitan dua topik. Okay, the first one is the introduction to the research and ethics, and the second one is the proposal write-up. Okay, di mana saya akan bagi sedikit lah berkaitan dengan cara penulisan research proposal. Okay, apa yang patut dilakukan, what are the guideline yang ada, yang terpakai especially untuk kita di MOH ataupun di Malaysia in general. Dan saya akan juga terangkan sedikit lah mengenai tata cara lah, what you should do as an investigator untuk you nak buat your research. Okay, sebab especially for MOH, we do have our own guideline. Okay, mungkin you guys akan nampak a bit of difference, and I also akan cuba untuk terangkan secara ringkas perbezaan antara how you get the ethical approval kat university, bila you nak dapatkan ethical approval di university, and when compared to ethical approval daripada MOH dan sebagainya. So I hope that today's session is not going to be just like one-way session. So I hope it's going to be a two-way communication this session lah. Di mana if you guys have any question related to anything, okay, yang terfikir, sama ada berkaitan research, berkaitan ethics, berkaitan proposal dan sebagainya, feel free to ask, feel free to interrupt my presentation, and you can also, if tak nak bercakap, you can write in the chat box, okay? And towards the end of the session, kita juga akan entertain your question lah. Alright. So without further ado, I think we can start lah, the presentation.
Boleh, silakan.
Alright, okay. So, saya akan share my slide. Okay. Alright. Okay, semua boleh nampak ke slide yang saya share?
Boleh. Nampak.
Okay. Alright. I try to make it short lah so that nanti kita boleh ada Q&A session yang panjang, I hope. But then kita tengok macam mana dululah. Dia nak buat back to back ke macam mana, Zai?
Boleh je back to back.
Back to back Okay,
Boleh.
alright. Okay. So untuk the first part of my presentation, I'll be talking about the research and ethics. Okay, as Dr. Zai mentioned just now, saya daripada NIH, the National Institutes of Health. For those who know or might not know what is NIH, NIH sebenarnya ialah is a research arm of KKM. KKM kita ada a few bahagian kan. Contoh macam you guys are in bahagian perubatan ataupun bahagian perkembangan perubatan atau kesihatan awam. And that is one bahagian dekat KKM kita panggil bahagian research and technical support lah. Di mana under that bahagian kita ada a few other section. And one of it ialah NIH lah, the National Institute of Health. Bawah NIH kita ada 6 institute yang besar. Probably the one yang you guys familiar with is Institute of Medical Research lah, IMR. Dan juga there are a few other institute lah, Institute Kesihatan Umum, IKU, Institute of Clinical Research, ICR, kita ada IHSR, Health System Research, and also kita ada Health Management and Behavioral Research lah, institutes. Okay, so introduction a bit. This is our new complex located in Setia Alam. Kalau nak datang, dipersilakan, dijemput. We just moved here around like 4 to 4 years ke 2018. 4 tahun dah lah. Kita move to Setia Alam. So we have a new complex, very big and wide complex housing all those 6 institutes. For those yang berminat boleh datang ataupun siapa yang nak join research kan lepas ni kan, because organ donation or transplantation is a kind of a new field. So there are a lot of research that you can do lah. Okay, so I will be talking about the introduction of research, especially medical research and ethics part, and then kita juga akan bercakap berkaitan dengan the ethical consideration when you conduct research. Okay, apakah aspek-aspek ethics yang perlu diberi perhatian, dan juga a bit about the registration, approval process flow, and the ethical requirements lah, okay, by MREC. Okay, so the definition of research is a systematic investigation, okay, including the research development, testing, evaluation designed to develop or contribute to a generalizable knowledge. Di mana untuk kita katakan benda sebagai research, the first thing ialah dia mesti ada systematic investigation. So maksudnya dari segi you kena ada plan what you should do, what you want to do, okay, and that plan should be replicable. Itu yang pertama. Maksudnya orang lain kalau dia buat balik whatever you do, okay, he or she, the investigator, should get the same result. Okay, that is research. Okay, it is a bit different from what we practice. Okay, for the clinical practice that we have. Because sometimes it can be, for example, dalam clinical practice, kalau you treat a patient, you akan buat the judgment based on whatever patient needs kan. But then in research, everything should follow the protocol. Okay, so kalau kata patient tu, that's why research ni can be something orang kata that can expose, okay, to exploitation, for example, ataupun biasness because of the needs for you to follow whatever the protocol says lah ataupun needs. And then when we talk about ethics pula ialah the norm, the values, the right and wrongs, the good and bads, and what ought to be done and what ought not to be done. Apa yang boleh dilakukan, apa yang tak boleh dilakukan. Alright, so when we talk about medical research pula, So bila kita cakap pasal medical research ni is something that involving human subject. Okay, so in order for us to understand the cause, the development, the effect of a disease, okay, macam mana kita nak improve, macam mana kita nak prevent, okay, the diagnostic and therapeutic. So we do research, and most of the time when we talk about medical research, it's a research that involves human subject. Okay, so berbeza dengan research yang lain, okay, dalam medical research human subject ni kita ada kita punya definition sendirilah, okay, which is according to the codes of federal regulation. Okay, human subject in medical research is defined as living individual about whom investigator conducts research, obtains either data, okay, through intervention or interaction. Maksudnya you berinteraksi dengan you punya pesakit ataupun individual tersebut, sama ada melalui intervention, you bagi something dekat individu tersebut, you bagi ubat, you bagi intervention, ataupun you interact, you bercakap, okay, you bagi questionnaire, you interview. Okay, so that is considered a human subject first. The second one is identifiable private information, meaning that you ada access, investigator ada access kepada information pesakit ataupun information private information. So kalau you ada access kepada private information pun itu dikira sebagai human subject in medical research. Okay, even though you tak ada jumpa pun patient tu dekat klinik, tapi you ada access kepada medical record, for example. So that is considered a human subject. Okay, so dalam ethics, okay, kita ada 3 fundamental principle, okay, and why it is important, okay, because of the macam saya begitulah, the possibility of the research to be exploited. When we talk about the history, kita boleh tengoklah dekat World War II, for example, okay, di mana prisoner of war, okay, dia secara paksa rela dikerah untuk menyertai research in order to understand, okay, what are the effects of, for example, high altitude, okay, to human body. So exploitation of the human itself. So that's why, okay, kita ada ethics in research basically. So the fundamental of ethics yang widely accepted ada 3. Okay, the first one ialah respect for the person, alright, ataupun kita bagi autonomy lah. Okay, sama juga macam in medical, okay, the autonomy of a patient or a person. The second one ialah beneficent and non-maleficent, meaning that beneficent is do no harm, okay, and non-maleficent is to minimize the risk and maximize the benefits. Okay, and the third things ialah justice. Okay, macam one of the guideline, okay, yang a very famous one, kita panggil Declaration of Helsinki. It's a guideline regarding medical research involving human subject. Okay, so medical research is subject to ethical standard that promote and ensure the respect for all human subject and protect their health and right. Okay, so kenapa research ethics lah, kenapa ada, okay, ethics dalam research ni, especially yang melibatkan human subject, is because of apa yang saya beritahu tu lah, okay, because of the potential of exploitation and abuse, okay, of this human subject. Alright. So kita nak buat exercise sikit lah pagi-pagi ni kan. So kadang-kadang takut macam tak the brain is not really functioning well early in the morning. Okay. So saya nak tanyalah you guys a few situation yang selalu berlaku dalam research. In your opinion, is this ethical? Okay. So the first one ialah a study on a new drug efficacy in children. Okay, study yang melibatkan children. So when the recruitment is involving only the parent and the guardian, okay, so maksudnya you as investigator, you approach the parent of a sick patient, okay, a sick children, and you kata, puan nak masuk tak satu study yang kita tengah buat ni untuk test the effectiveness atau efficacy of drugs berkaitan anak puan ni kan, berkaitan penyakit anak puan. Okay, is it ethical? What do you think? Boleh siapa jawab lah? Ataupun tulis ke? Saya nak tengok dia punya ni kat mana lah. Saya pun tak tahu. Sekejap. Okay. Okay. Reni Kumilau. Apa jawapan dia? Sila. You can open your mic and you can answer that. Sekejap saya akan cuba share the link of my slide so that you can also see from your side. Maybe you can give me a few seconds kejap. Meanwhile, someone can answer that. Boleh tak? Just bagi your opinion, tak ada masalah. Betul ke salah tu kita tolak tepi. Yang penting at least you rasa-rasa benda tu ethical ke tak ethical?
Saya nak try jawab.
Sila.
So most likely kalau just involvement of parents or guardian without taking into consideration the consent of the test subject themselves, dia macam quite questionable lah, the ethics, sebab kita tak inform juga walaupun dia children tapi dia are the one yang akan receive that treatment, whether it's actual medication ataupun placebo treatment kan. So probably there is some ethical concerns lah kat situ, dia kena look into.
Okay, alright. Betul? Okay, acceptable. Ada lagi tak yang nak bagi jawab pendapat rasa lagi? I need one more for example for the that situation. Sekejap, Saya cuba.
Saya nak cuba.
Yes, sila.
Saya rasa bila in terms of pediatrics punya groups ni macam because kalau in terms of research yang melibatkan pediatrics ni, of course consent and everything tu by the parents.
Okay.
So macam betul macam yang apa Zaidani cakap tadi tu, okay, even with the children tak boleh nak buat decision dan macam kita tak bagi rights dekat dia, tapi kalau macam in terms of pediatric group, I think the only person yang able to macam bagi consent and allow for the research to proceed is the guardian lah kan sepatutnya.
Okay, alright. Okay, boleh diterima juga. Tak ni. Alright. Okay, sebenarnya dalam ethics kalau kita bercakap berkaitan dengan pediatric groups, kita kena tengok the age of the minor. Kita panggil kalau kata subject, okay, yang less than 18 years old, kita refer to as minor. Okay, in minor, in ethics, kalau in medical research, kita kena tengok the age of the minor. Okay, kita ada 3 age group lah yang kita divide selalunya dalam ethics daripada newborn sampai 7 years old, 7 to 12, 13 to 17. Okay, in ethics, kalau your subject is less than 7 years old, then the consent is coming only from the guardian. Okay, tetapi for more than 7 years old, meaning that 8 and above, atau 7, selalunya kita kena 7 lah, 7 and above, in order for you to do a research, you need to get 2 type of consent. The first one is kita panggil parental ataupun guardian. Okay. The second one kita panggil sebagai Assent Form. Assent maksudnya kita panggil the consent daripada subject itself. So kalau you punya subject punya population is 7 to 13, 7 to 17 for example, then the requirement by the ethics, okay, is for you to have 2 type of consent lah. The first one is the parental, the second one ialah consent daripada patient itself ataupun your subject itself. So dua-dua. So let's say patient guardian agree but subject disagree. Okay, then by right ethically subject should not be included dalam the study. So that is the ethics of conducting research among minors lah sebenarnya. Okay. Alright. Sorry. Betul lah. I mean both of you have the right explanation lah. Okay. Ada yang perlu parent sahaja kalau dia less than 7. Okay. Kalau dia more than 7 atau 7 and above, dia perlukan parent ataupun guardian dengan subject punya consent. Okay. Both consent is required lah. Okay. Sekejap. Saya cuba move. Sekejap Nak buka sini. Saya share je lah link macam ni je lah. Saya pun bukan ni sangat. Sabar. Link. Alright, saya share dulu kita link ni. So you all of you boleh try to download it and tengok lah. Saya hantar dekat you guys. Link. Okay. Alright. And kita sambung, okay? Okay, then the next one ialah collection of data. This one is like common lah yang selalu dilakukan oleh investigator. Collection of data prospectively in a clinic is done by investigator without the knowledge of patient or clinic visitor. Is it ethical? Siapa boleh bagi pendapat? You buat collection of data but you do it prospectively. Is it ethical to be conducted? Rasa-rasa lah. Someone?
Nak cuba?
Ya, sila.
Kalau prospective study, meaning that kita akan tengok dia punya outcome at a certain date in the future kan?
Betul?
So basically kalau in prospective, I don't think it is ethical. Sebab benda tu macam the observed outcome hasn't happened yet for that subject. In contrary to retrospective lah. Macam retrospective dia something like macam cross sectional tu kita dah ada dia punya exposure and outcome. And so probably in that case kalau kita nak buat kita nak guna that data untuk kita punya research, we don't need to get every single subject punya consent. But still kita need to get the ethical approval. Tapi kalau macam prospective ni, I think it should kena ada dapatkan from all the subject lah yang kita nak study, in my opinion.
Alright. Okay. Ada lagi tak yang nak ni? Just throw your opinion about it. Rasa-rasa lah. Okay. Macam Zai kata it's not ethical. Yang lain?
Saya cuba, boleh ke?
Okay, sila. Boleh.
Saya rasa kalau nak kata, saya pun tak mahir sangat pasal yang saya study ni kan. Tapi kalau in this perspective punya things, kalau kita brief the visitor ataupun patient, kita tengah buat study macam ni, boleh tak kami nak recruit, maksudnya minta cik isikan questionnaire ni. So kalau diorang dah tahu beforehand and then they agree to fill up the questionnaire, and then itu kalau macam tu mungkin jadi ethical lah kot. Tapi tak pastilah.
Okay, alright. Okay, sebenarnya dua-dua tu betul. Okay. By right sepatutnya, okay, dia ada dua situation lah di mana the first situation, kalau kata for example you memang collect the data individually, meaning that okay, dalam satu klinik tu ada lebih kurang 50 patient and you collect all those 50 patient, okay, prospectively, okay, in that particular situation, yes, sebenarnya patient patut tahu yang data dia diambil oleh you untuk buat research. Okay, in ethics, betul macam mana yang saya cakap, okay, sepatutnya you as investigator, you patut pergi kepada setiap patient and minta dia punya consent first. Okay, kata I am currently conducting a research, okay, berkaitan dengan apa, contoh organ donation. So, saya nak collect data-data cik, okay, untuk saya punya research ni, okay ataupun tidak. Kalau dia kata okay, dia sign consent form, then you can collect. Kalau dia tidak, saya tak nak masuk dalam research ni, so you tak boleh nak masukkan dia sebagai you part of the study subject lah. Okay, so that is commonly happen lah. Okay, maksudnya yang selalunya dibuat oleh investigator. Tapi yang kedua ialah kita panggil registry punya type of research. Maksud dia, you nak buat registry, you nak collect data, okay, and then in 10 years, you akan buat, okay lah, observational study ke apa kan, based on the registry punya data yang di-establish tu. So, in registry pula, instead of you pergi satu-satu kepada patient and then ambil consent, okay, you boleh buat kita panggil sebagai opt-out consent. Meaning that dalam klinik tu you paparkan satu kita panggil sebagai advertisement, okay, di mana in that advertisement dia beritahu attention to all patient ni, okay. Currently hospital tengah buat registry punya study, so all of the data berkaitan subjek sekian akan dimasukkan dalam study tersebut. Sekiranya you adalah salah seorang daripada that patient, okay, and you tak nak your data to be included, then you approach one of the study team ataupun you can approach your doctors and you request for kita panggil opt-out. Okay, yang tu maksudnya you nak keluar daripada that registry punya type of study. Okay, so in that case, yes, you boleh collect bukanlah maksudnya without the patient knowledge lah, tapi still like macam instead of you going individually to the patient yang akan pergi and minta untuk dikeluarkan. Usually that type of cases is melibatkan the entire country ke multi-site ke, banyak sangat orang di mana untuk you nak dapatkan consent individually tu is quite time consuming lah, ataupun you need a lot of resources. Macam tu, yes, tak apa untuk you tak dapatkan the consent first. Okay, so dia ada dua situation. So it depends on you as investigator to justify sebenarnya. Dalam ethics of the study ni sebenarnya bukan kata semua benda you tak boleh buat ataupun semua benda tu is not ethics. You must justify, and kalau kata benda tu okay, as long as it is safe, okay, patient punya right is protected, then selalunya it is okay. Itu sebenarnya ethical. As long as you can justify lah. Okay, then we go to the third one. Prospective subject recruitment is done via contacting patient from the patient listing in the clinic. Okay, you rasa is it ethical or not for this third punya situation? Siapa nak jawab? Sebab saya tak boleh tengok you punya chat tau sebenarnya, sebab saya tengah share the slide screen. So, kalau siapa nak try untuk this third punya situation? 3, 2, 1, tak ada. Okay, kita teruskan. Saya akan explain. Untuk third situation, okay, this is not ethical sebenarnya untuk you contact you punya subject by phone. Okay, on initial lah of your study. Maksudnya you recruit patient, you contact diorang daripada patient list. Because why? Because information yang diberikan kepada patient di klinik adalah untuk tujuan perubatan ataupun untuk treatment. So it is not, untuk tujuan research. So that's why it is not ethical untuk you contact subject recruitment lah. Maksudnya you contact patient just untuk tanya you nak masuk invite tak? You nak masuk tak dalam study ni? Okay, it is known as breach of confidentiality lah maksudnya. So the patient bagi the information, okay, dia punya alamat, dia punya number phone untuk tujuan perubatan kan, something yang berkaitan dengan dia punya treatment lah, but not for research. Unless kalau waktu dia mula-mula masuk klinik tu, you guys dah minta dia sign untuk orang kata you can be contacted if there is any research related to your disease, for example. Okay, so dalam initial, during early period of treatment, patient dah ada sign tu, then it is okay. But then selalunya dekat hospital, especially MOH punya hospital, betul tak ada kan, patient datang untuk buat treatment and dia bagi maklumat-maklumat dia. So it is actually not ethical for you to contact your patient for study recruitment using patient clinic punya listing lah. Okay, alright. And then number 4, analysis of genetics receptor marker is conducted. Okay, ada dua situation. The first one ialah on newly fresh sample sent to the lab. Okay, no consent is sought from the participant as investigator is also the treating surgeon. Is it ethical? Okay, for this type of situation, it is not ethical. Okay, and even it is also dia ada conflict of interest lah kita panggil. Okay, treating surgeon, lepas tu dia juga at the same time investigator, so dia can recruit the patient untuk jadi subject dia. So it is actually wrong. It is not ethical. Okay, especially on a sample yang kita panggil fresh sample lah. Okay, you must have the consent of your patient first before you can do anything related to that sample. Okay, tapi kalau untuk nombor 2, okay, on sample kept by the lab, okay, no consent is obtained, the study is just to validate the finding, to conduct other tests that is not really significant to the patient care. Sample also is anonymized. Okay, is it ethical? Yes, it is ethical because sample that is kept by the hospital, itu kita panggil archive sample. Okay, selalunya by right, kalau kata waktu kita nak buat prosedur untuk dapatkan that sample, dia ada statement kan, this patient has given the right to the hospital kan, to keep the sample, to do whatever necessary on the sample. Okay, and as long it is anonymized and as long as it not really have any significance to the patient, okay, then it's usually okay for you not to have the consent from the patient. Okay, so these are among a few situations yang you akan encounter waktu you nak buat research. Okay, this is on ethics part lah. Okay, maybe some of you quite familiar with this situation, some of it are just like new for you, so this is something that you can learn from. Okay, so basically ethical consideration in preparing research proposal, sebenarnya you kena give attention to these 4 things lah. Okay, at least. Okay, there are a lot of other things, but then usually saya untuk macam for you to come up with a research proposal, try to to consider these 4 things. The first one is risk and benefit justification of your research. Okay, the second one is the subject involvement and data collection. Okay, collection of the data, and then the third one is the data privacy and protection. Number 4 ialah the requirement for research registration and ethical approval. Saya akan terangkan one by one for you. So basically the risk and benefit justification, macam saya bagi tahu tadi on the principle of ethics, okay, kita ada 2 complementary rule, which is first do no harm, the second one is to maximize the benefit and minimize the harm. Okay, so basically 3 condition yang you kena fulfill lah, and then you kena justify dalam your protocol. Okay, the risk of individual subject is minimized, the benefit of this individual subject is enhanced, okay, through the research, and the benefit to the individual and subject and society are proportionate lah to outweigh the risk. Sebab apa selalunya, especially yang melibatkan clinical trial lah, okay, because you are putting a risk to a certain group of people in order to justify, okay, the usage of the drug to the community, for example. So that's why that need to be proportionate. Okay, so how you want to maximize the benefit and minimize the harm, itu yang you kena justify dalam you punya proposal. Okay, alright, and then the second one is the subject involvement and collection of data. Okay, most of it kita dah touch tadi dalam kita punya situational analysis, which is the requirement of consent. Okay, ICF lah kita panggil, informed consent sheet. Okay, atau informed consent form, ICF. Dan juga ada satu lagi kita panggil PIS, participant ataupun patient information sheet. Okay, so these are the requirement if the study involving subject interaction. Okay, maksudnya kalau you ada interaction dengan pesakit and the data is collected prospectively ke depan, then usually there is a requirement of PIS and ICF lah kita panggil patient information sheet and informed consent form. Okay, so what is PIS? PIS basically is a document, okay, that explaining all the necessary thing related to the research. For example, the procedure, apa yang akan dilakukan oleh pesakit, the duration of the participant, apakah risk of subject, kalau dia masuk dalam research dan sebagainya lah. Okay, and that document basically should be prepared in a layman term lah, maksudnya, meaning that you, kalau boleh kita gunakan bahasa-bahasa yang senang difahami lah. Okay, dalam PIS. Okay, dan kita selalunya macam saya selalu nasihatkan investigator untuk gunakan picture and also flowchart untuk explain what are the procedure yang patient akan buat, apa yang you akan lakukan dalam your study, so that it is better for people to understand, especially yang tak ada background medical ataupun background science lah. Okay, because our participant can be a diverse punya population kan. Okay, and then number 2 ialah assent form, kita selalu kita tadi tu kan. So assent form is required for a minor subject, meaning that subject less than 18 years old, okay, which is in between age 7 to 17 lah. Okay, in addition to the parental guardian ataupun guardian consent. So for assent form, dia lebih kurang macam PIS juga sebenarnya, okay, patient information sheet and ICF. Cumanya it is more age appropriate lah to the subject. Okay, for example, kalau kata untuk MREC, different ethical committee akan ada different requirements selalunya, but then for MREC, Assent Form kita ada 2 jenis. Okay, satu untuk 7 and to 12 years old, and then the second one is from 12 to 17 years old. So apa beza dua Assent Form ni? Selalunya is the information yang dimasukkan lah. For example, kalau kata 7 to 12 years old tu is more like macam drawing, pictures, okay, untuk bagi tahu apa yang akan dilakukan. It is the age appropriate punya information lah maksudnya. Okay. And kalau macam 12 ke 17 tu is more you boleh tulis kataan yang banyak lagi lah, sebab orang kata comprehension of subject waktu tu is almost the same dengan adults kan, so they can understand by just reading the information. Okay. So macam saya bagi tahu, potential subject dissent should be respected. Okay, even though parent ataupun guardian give prior consent, meaning that kalau kata dia melibatkan minors, kalau the subject tak agree, then you should not include the subject dalam your study, even though parent agree. Okay, dia kena dua-dua agree, dua-dua sign the consent, baru you boleh include them as your study subject. Okay, waiver of consent, meaning that you waivekan the consent. Okay, these are the one yang selalunya kita akan minta as investigator untuk study-study yang macam saya bagi tahu, contoh yang melibatkan registry punya study. Okay, you nak waive keperluan untuk dapatkan consent. Okay, selalunya this one you kena justify dalam you punya proposal lah, kenapa you nak waive that consent. Contoh kalau kita tahu prospectively, kalau you collect data you kena ada consent, but you nak waive. Okay, for example dalam study-study yang melibatkan emergency department, okay, di mana patient might come to you tak sedar, for example kan, then mungkin you justify the study ni memerlukan masa yang sangat singkat untuk nak bagi kepada patient, for example. So keperluan consent tu tak macam tak, kita panggil tak tak appropriate lah, sebab patient pun maybe datang dalam keadaan tak sedar, nak beli consent, and then window period untuk bagi that treatment pun is very short, so that's why you minta untuk waive. So you kena justify lah dalam you punya protokol. Okay, so investigator should seek to establish whether informed consent tu boleh modified in a way that still preserve the participant ability to understand and to decide whether to participate or not. Okay, kalau untuk waiver of consent lah. So waiver of consent selalunya you kena fulfill a few of the criteria. Okay, the research would not be feasible. Nah, ayat tu feasible. Okay, or practicable to be conducted without the waiver of consent. Okay, the research has a very important social value. The research poses no more than minimal risk to the participant, and the research tak ada personal punya information yang collected lah. Kalau you ada kriteria-kriteria ni, you justify dalam you punya protokol, ethical committee might granted you the waiver of consent. Okay, alright. And then number 3 ialah data privacy and confidentiality. Okay, so it should be ensured, okay, during your entire punya study conduct. So data collection should always be anonymous. Okay, selalunya investigator akan tanya macam mana nak anonymous data kan, sedangkan kita maybe nak kena rujuk balik the data tu dengan patient mana kan, for example lah. So what you should do sebenarnya ialah you kena ada satu kita panggil master list. Okay, master list ni should be separated from your data collection form sebenarnya, and master list tu hanya boleh accessible by PI ataupun ada you assign one person lah. So this person is the only one yang boleh tengok the master list, for example. Selalunya untuk data collection form you kena guna kita panggil unique identifier. For example, you assign patient A sebagai 01, subject 01, for example. So you ada master list lah. Okay, 01 ni refer to patient A. Okay, 02 refer to patient B. So dia kena separate juga. Okay, alright. So that is the ethics of the data collection ataupun the privacy and confidentiality. Okay, so, and in a research proposal, selalunya apa yang investigator lupa ialah untuk describe ataupun untuk discuss the data management section lah, where description of the data storage, macam mana you store your data, macam mana you archive your data, berapa lama you nak archive your data, how you dispose the data. Okay, you bakar you punya data ke, you simpan dalam cloud, you delete the cloud. Okay, and also the publication policy lah should be mentioned dalam you punya research proposal. So these are among the things yang you kena consider dalam you punya research proposal untuk cover dari segi ethics part of the study. Okay, so based on what I said, okay, how kita nak ensure the research proposal is ethics, okay, adakah dia ethical ke tidak? So you consider a few things lah, okay, dari segi the social and scientific value, okay, how the treatment and hypothesis being tested, okay, should it improve the health ataupun increase the knowledge of the area, for example, so the accuracy of the outcome, okay, through the valid scientific methodology and plan data analysis. Satu lagi, macam mana you sample your subject, okay, kita ada stratification of the sampling population, for example, kita ada sample size calculation, kita ada inclusion, exclusion criteria. So that are the things yang akan menentukan dari segi is your proposal is ethical or not. Okay, and then the respecting of the research subject. Contoh, you kena describe dalam you punya research protocol ataupun proposal how is the informed consent process works. Okay, macam saya beritahu tadi, you cannot recruit subject by calling the subject from the patient list. Okay, it is not ethical. You should usually approach the subject one-to-one, and then bakal kata saya tengah buat research sekian-sekian, boleh ke you nak participate, you interested ke nak participate? Kalau you interested, here is the PIS, okay, you can have a read, anything you can ask me, kalau you kata okay, then you sign the ICF. Tentulah, so that process should be documented as well dalam you punya proposal. Okay, kalau kata study-study yang melibatkan subjek kena datang jumpa you, so compensation macam mana, okay, that should also be considered as well dalam you punya research proposal. And then yang keempat ialah protection of data privacy and confidentiality lah, macam anonymity of the data, the sharing agreement macam mana, data storage, archiving and disposal macam saya cakap tadi. Okay, and yang terakhir ialah berkaitan dengan keperluan untuk you register your study and dapatkan ethical approval. Okay, maybe some of you sebelum ni pernah buat research and kemungkinan okay, you tak pernah pun tahu keperluan untuk register your punya study tu sebenarnya. Okay, so kenapa kita perlu register is because of the keperluan untuk memastikan that research is first ethical, the second one ialah that research ada certain scientific standard lah untuk ensure the quality and the safety and the acceptability of the research itself. Okay, based on the guideline available, okay, contoh macam Helsinki punya guideline, every research study involving human subject must be registered in a publicly accessible database before the recruitment of the first subject. Alright, so berkaitan dengan registration of research, okay, in MOH, okay, kita ada satu sistem, okay, yang kita panggil sebagai NMRR, National Medical Research Register. Okay, so this system is established in 2007, okay, designed to support the implementation of kita punya guideline lah, okay, on the conduct of research in Ministry of Health. So NMRR ni is a system where you can register your study, okay, submit your study for ethical approval, okay, and then the review and everything is happening online lah. Okay, and because this is a registry, so it constitute also a database of the ongoing and completed medical research yang berlaku dalam MOH. Dalam university, you also mungkin ada own university system di mana you need to register as well your study, okay, dalam that particular system lah. So you need to discover juga. Kalau kata dekat UM, what are the system yang dia gunakan untuk register the study? Okay, kalau dekat MOH kita gunakan NMRR. Alright. So registration with NMRR ni sebenarnya is based on kita punya perkeliling lah. Okay, circular by the Director General of Health bilangan 4 2022. So this is the latest circular yang kita ada. Okay, berkaitan dengan National Institute of Health Guideline for Conducting Research in Ministry of Health Facilities and Institution, the third edition. Okay, so the requirement for the registration of the research, okay, when you should register your research dalam NMRR especially, is kalau your study involving Ministry of Health. Okay, kalau you are a MOH punya staff, you kena register your study. dalam NMRR. Kalau you are using MOH facility dalam you punya study, you kena register your study dalam NMRR. You are using MOH patient, data or sample as your study subject, then you need to register your study dalam NMRR. Okay, so these are among the criteria lah of study involving study involving Ministry of Health. So kalau kata ada one of these criteria, you need to register your study dalam NMRR lah. Okay. These are the important documents untuk conducting research in MOH. Okay. So the first one, kalau boleh, saya nak minta kerjasama ataupun please try to download this guideline. Okay. It will be helpful for you to conduct the study, especially kalau you nak buat study yang melibatkan MOH lah, kalau you nak ambil data daripada MOH, kalau you nak buat the study dekat hospital kerajaan, dekat KK ke apa kan. So you at least try to read the NIH guideline for conducting research in Ministry of Health, Facilities and Institution lah. So among other than this guideline, kita juga ada a few other guidelines berkaitan dengan specific type of research. For example, kita ada guideline on the human biological sample for research. I think kalau dalam organ transplantation, these are among the guideline yang orang kata terpakai lah, yang very related to you guys. Okay, the Malaysian guideline on the use of human biological sample for research, stem cell transplantation, national standard for cord blood banking transplantation, guideline for stem cell research therapy dan sebagainya. These are among the guideline yang ada dalam MOH. Okay. So these are the latest guideline yang kita ada. Okay. This are the NMRR. NMRR currently kita ada dua version version 1, version lama and version 2. Version 2 ni currently kita tengah ongoing punya project untuk complete. Okay. Once it's complete, dia akan replace the version 1 yang sedia ada lah. Okay. So you can also access this system dalam nmrr.gov.my. Okay, to register your study later bila you dah ada all the information, all the protocol dan sebagainya. Okay, syarat dia, you need to know before you can start the study recruitment, ada dua benda, registration and ethics approval. Okay, so untuk registration, ada 4 benda yang diperlukan untuk you submit. Okay, dalam NMRR, kalau untuk MOH lah. Okay, first is investigator CV. The second one ialah approval of research conduct form, kita panggil IAFD-IA form. The third one is GCP certificate, good clinical practice. This is mandatory kalau you nak buat interventional and clinical trial. Okay, and number 4 ialah you punya research information lah, macam objective, study team dan sebagainya. Alright, so hanya 4 benda ni yang diperlukan untuk you register your study dalam NMRR. Okay, so these are the overview ataupun flow of your study. Kalau you nak dapatkan ethical approval dalam MOH, okay, so kalau you nak dapatkan ethical approval dalam MOH, your punya submission tu first akan pergi kepada NMRR untuk registration, then NMRR akan screen sama ada perlu ke tidak ethical approval. Kalau perlu, your study akan undergo the scientific and ethical review lah. Okay, and then dia akan end up dekat MREC. With MREC, dia akan tengok and dia akan bagi the approval. Kalau kata you dapat the approval, you can conduct the study. Okay, so these are the flow yang you akan lalui lah kalau you kena minta ethical approval daripada MOH. Alright, document to submit ataupun to upload. Okay, for research registration macam saya bagi tahu tadi, CV, GCP dengan IAFD-IA form. Kalau untuk dapatkan ethical approval, you kena submit your protocol, you punya PIS, you punya questionnaire, data collection form dan sebagainya. Alright, so which study yang perlu ethical approval daripada, kalau macam MOH daripada MREC lah, kalau kata daripada university, is dia punya university punya isi. So basically study-study yang melibatkan human subject. Kita ingat balik tadi mula-mula saya beritahu human subject punya definition, interaction or intervention on the subject, ataupun you ada access to the identifiable private information. So kalau you punya study ada either one of these criteria, your study kena apply for ethical approval. Okay, so bila you nak apply, kalau kata MREC, kalau you punya study tu melibatkan MREC MOH punya interaction subject lah ataupun data MOH lah. Okay, and then kalau MOH investigator as a principal investigator, you kena dapatkan ethical approval daripada MOH juga. Alright, however, certain type of research ada exemption daripada MREC, daripada ethical approval. Okay, which I akan show you. Okay, so dia ada 5 type of research yang boleh exempted ataupun tak perlukan ethical approval. For example, clinical audit. tak perlukan ethical approval. Case report, case series tak perlukan ethical approval.
Audit je lah senang, tiba.
Okay, tapi saya nak beritahu, audit kalau dalam research, clinical audit ada kriteria dia yang tersendiri. Sebab kebanyakan investigator akan confuse antara clinical audit dengan cross-sectional study. Okay, dalam clinical audit, first you kena ada comparison of the data yang you collect dengan standard of care ataupun practice or guideline. So you nak compare both two. Itu kalau ada baru kita assume sebagai, kita panggil the clinical audit. Kalau tak, kalau contoh you just nak ambil collect data, you nak tengok berapa banyak patient yang datang, okay, apa dia punya penyakit, macam mana presentation dan apa semua, itu kita panggil cross-sectional study. Okay, it's an observational study. That one perlukan ethical approval. Okay, be careful. Alright, and clinical audit juga tak boleh ada, kita panggil complex analysis ataupun analysis of relationship. You nak tengok association between this group and this group. Okay, you nak compare. And you nak compare dengan apa-apa. That kalau ada benda tu, itu kita panggil juga observational study, perlukan ethical approval. Clinical audit tak boleh ada analysis of relationship. Okay, so hati-hati sebab kadang-kadang investigator boleh tend to confuse. Dia kata dia dapat clinical audit, sebenarnya itu bukan clinical audit, itu ialah cross-sectional study. Okay, and then antara 5 ni lah yang boleh exempted from the ethical approval. Alright. Okay, so bila you nak dapatkan ethical approval daripada universiti, bila nak dapatkan ethical approval daripada MOH. Okay, this one is applicable for you lah, especially yang buat master dan sebagainya. So kalau dekat universiti, you kena dapatkan ethical approval daripada universiti kalau your study tu research conducted to fulfill the requirement of the institution lah. For example, for your master, okay, for your PhD ke dan sebagainya. So you kena dapatkan ethical approval daripada universiti first. And then you are using university data ataupun patient as subject. Then you kena dapatkan the ethical approval from university. And the study is conducted in facilities university lah. Okay. And then you kena dapatkan juga MREC yang punya approval kalau you are using human subject from MOH. Patient ke, data ke, personnel ke as your study subject. Okay. That, kalau ada benda tu, then you kena dapatkan ethical approval daripada MREC MOH. Tetapi, saya dah highlight kat bawah tu okay, even though your study tak memerlukan ethical approval dekat MREC, sebab for example you tak menggunakan data daripada MOH pun, selalunya registration dalam NMRR diperlukan sebab you adalah MOH personnel. So maksudnya you just buat registration je lah, you tak perlukan ethical approval. Dekat NMRR tu you boleh tick registration saja. Okay, tak perlu tick ethical approval. Alright, this one I nak highlight juga sikit sebab kebanyakan daripada student-student universiti yang tengah on leave especially, okay, walaupun you bukan considered MOH staff, but sebab you belajar, okay, you are under university, but still you are macam mana, walaupun you tengah dalam cuti belajar, you are still considered an MOH punya personnel. Sebab later you kena patah balik pergi kepada MOH juga kan, you bekerja di MOH, then at least the requirement is for you to register your study. Kenapa this is very important? Because later on, for example, you dah habis your study, you patah balik kerja dekat you punya department mana-mana, and then waktu you dah kerja baru you nak publish your data, for example, you nak publish your findings sebagainya. Then waktu tu terpakailah segala guideline yang ada dalam MOH ni. So that's why my advice, register first your study. Walaupun your study tak perlukan MREC approval, just register the study. Then bila nanti you nak publish, senang untuk you. Sebab kita dekat MOH, kita tak terima retrospective registration. It should be always prospective before the subject recruitment. Kalau kata you baru nak register tapi you dah habis dia punya study tu dekat university, then kita tak terima. Later on bila nak publish nanti akan susah untuk you lah sebenarnya. Alright. These are among the protocol requirement yang diperlukan dekat MREC. Okay, you kena ada this kind of information lah yang mana kita akan cover sikit nanti dalam kita punya proposal write-up. Okay, kalau you ada semua benda-benda ni, insya-Allah you punya study boleh pass the ethical approval lah easily. Okay, these are the PIS requirement untuk MREC. Okay, apa yang perlu ada, benda apa yang perlu ada, you kena statekan dalam PIS dan sebagainya. Okay, so the take home message, this one nampak macam very ni kan, intimidating tu lah kan, banyaknya benda kena buat. Kan? Sebenarnya benda-benda semua kena require plan. Okay, you need to have a plan in your research. Okay, bila you patut siap the proposal, bila you patut hantar the ethical approval dan sebagainya. Okay, that's why a well-designed and elaborated proposal akan help lah to facilitate the process. And then investigator, saya selalu always advise, please register yourself dalam NMRR. Please ada account dalam NMRR lah, so that it will help you later on. Okay, these are the contact numbers. Okay, tak apa, these are ni. And then with that, kita finish our first topic. Ada apa-apa question nak tanya yang berkaitan ethics sebelum kita go for the research proposal?
Actually saya ada satu soalan.
Ya,
Tadi part yang pasal ensuring ethical research proposal tu, yang points to consider.
okay.
Kan dia ada mention about on fair subject recruitment.
Okay,
So saya just nak tanya about sampling method je lah.
alright.
So 2 kali saya tulis proposal write up, 2 kali saya consult dengan CRC. They always
Okay.
suggest untuk saya guna use all the subject contained within the registry.
Alright.
So saya akan tanya, what is that sampling method called? So dia akan cakap is universal sampling.
Okay.
So saya tertanya lah sebab saya
Ah.
juga tak jumpa any like proper explanation about universal sampling ni. So kalau boleh nak tahu sikit lah, can elaborate what does it mean by universal sampling method ni?
Okay. Untuk sampling method kita ada a few. Okay. The first one kita panggil convenient sampling. Convenient tu maksud dia yang mudah lah, sampling yang mudah. Okay. Convenient sampling ni dia ada a few sub sampling dalam convenient sampling ni. One of it ialah universal sampling, meaning that okay, you nak buat study, you ada population yang you target lah. For example, population diabetic patient. Okay, dekat klinik X. Okay. Sebab, okay, one of the thing yang you need to consider dalam you punya study ialah you punya analysis of result. Okay, untuk justify the weightage of your punya study tu kan. Lagi, by orang panggil, kalau in statistic, the more numbers you have, okay, the accurate the result will be. Okay, itu dalam statistik. Okay, which is very related to the research lah sebenarnya kan, sebab kita gunakan data. Okay, so that's why selalunya kita akan advise kalau you ada the sampling of subject dekat clinic X diabetic patient, try to include as much as you can. So bila include as much as you can, mean that you ambil lah semua yang ada. So kalau you ambil semua yang ada, it mean it's a universal, mean that you ambil je, tak kisahlah benda tu okey ke tak okey ke, data tu apa complete ke tak complete ke, you recruit as long as sebab you dah dapatkan dia punya weightage ataupun dia punya accuracy of the data tu. Sebab lagi banyak you collect data, lagi accurate you punya analysis akan jadi. Itu dari segi statistik lah. Okay, that's why we call universal sampling. And then kita juga ada, kita panggil snowball sampling, for example. Snowball tu maksud dia from one to another. Maksud dia snowball ni kalau you macam nak recruit subjek lah. Maksud dia you pergi ke subjek A akan you akan tanya subjek A, ada tak lagi orang yang you rasa berminat untuk buat benda ni. Then subjek kata, oh cuba pergi ke subjek B, and then you pergi subjek B pula. Okay tak ada ni, that is snowballing. Lepas tu selain daripada convenient, universal, kita ada purposive sampling. Purposive tu you purposively sample that particular population. Maksudnya contoh, kita ada population A, B, C kan. Dalam the whole entire population, kita ada group A, group B, group C. So you purposely ambil group A untuk you punya study. Untuk purposive sampling ni selalunya kita untuk buat study-study yang berkaitan dengan a particular group of people lah. For example, kita nak tengok doctors punya opinion. Dan kita ambil doctors saja, kita ambil nurses. Okay, itu dah kita panggil purposive. Kita dah target dah betul-betul sampling kita yang macam mana. Okay, itu antara among contoh-contoh sampling yang ada dalam convenient sampling lah. Ini yang easier, yang just you tak perlu nak stratify the sample. The second one, sampling yang kita ada ialah kita panggil random sampling lah. Maksudnya you stratified your population. Now, that one you kena ada calculation dan sebagainya. That is in order for you to lagi kita panggil accurate kan you punya data tu, because you dah try to avoid the biasness yang ada dalam your sample population lah. Okay, itulah aku antara explanation yang saya boleh bagi. Saya boleh explain berkaitan dengan universal. But then when someone talk about universal, mean that you cuba include as much as you can tanpa consider the factor ataupun the bias yang ada lah. Sebab by orang panggil kita punya statistik punya law, the more data you have, the accurate the analysis will be. Tapi that one kena consider juga nanti dalam you punya data analysis, macam mana you nak analyze data. Okay? Adakah dia menjawab, Zai?
Okay, boleh. Menjawab. So it's a type of non-random sampling technique lah.
Betul, yes.
Thanks.
Okay, ada persoalan lagi tak sebelum kita move to our next topic? Saya dah drag masa sikit, tak apa kan?
Tak apa, boleh. Okay je. So kita akan continue terus since tadi kita plan to do back to back. So we carry on. Dr. Asyraf Syahmi akan membentangkan topik seterusnya berkenaan tentang proposal writing lah. Jadi kita jemput Dr. untuk.
Okay. So for this one saya nak acknowledge siap-siap. I mean this slide saya adapt, okay, daripada slide from my boss, okay. So from Dr. Ahmad Fauzi lah, okay, it's adapted from the research good research proposal and study protocol, okay, dalam NIH punya course, good research practice course lah. Okay, this course pun sebenarnya available to you to join, okay, kalau you interested, okay, just log into NIH punya website and then pergi kepada kita punya future courses and then you can join one of the courses yang kita buat lah, okay, berkaitan dengan research especially. Okay, so what is research proposal and protocol? Okay, dalam research, these are the most important part. This is the holy grail kita panggil lah, okay, of research, the proposal and the protocol. Basically, research proposal is a document that provide the information lah, a detailed description of what you are going to do, okay, in the study. Okay, and protocol is a document to detail out the methodology. Okay, so both actually digunakan untuk seek the approval lah, sama ada di peringkat ethical body ke, you nak dapatkan fund ke, and because of the similarity, selalunya both of the term is interchangeable lah. Maksudnya kalau you kata protocol pun is refer to documents yang bagi tahu pasal you punya study, okay, proposal pun benda yang sama juga. Okay, dia tak ada beza pun sebenarnya. Okay. So what is research proposal? Basically is an outline of the entire process of your research lah. Okay, what is your research is all about? Okay, kenapa you nak buat research? Okay, berapa lama you nak buat benda tu? Okay, macam mana you nak buat benda tu? So that is all should be inside your proposal. Macam saya beritahu tadi, that is kita panggil holy grail ataupun kita panggil you punya Bible lah. Kalau cakap overseas kan, selalu kata your proposal, research proposal is your Bible. Okay, sebab you kena follow 100% exactly whatever dalam research proposal tu cakap. You tak boleh nak divert. Kalau you divert from the research proposal, itu kita panggil sebagai protocol deviation, PD. Okay, so especially dalam clinical trial, kalau ada PD je you kena report. Kalau ada PD je you kena report. Okay, because research, the difference between your clinical practice is you must follow the documents. Okay, kalau research practice, you can divert from whatever yang guideline said because, for example, in your opinion, okay, in your professional punya opinion, so patient maybe tak perlukan this one because of apa-apa. But in research, kalau dia kata A lah kena buat, kalau dia kata B lah kena buat. Apa jadi, itu nanti you kena specify dalam you punya ni. Kalau kena jadi macam ni, you kena buat apa. Patient ada SAE ataupun ada adverse event, you kena buat apa. That is all kena ada plan dalam research proposal sebenarnya. Okay, so why a research proposal? Kenapa you perlukan research proposal? First is untuk you convince, okay, others lah berkaitan the importance, benda ni worth atau benda ni perlu dilakukan. Okay, and then you nak convince juga the people that you have the ability to carry out the research design lah and report the finding. And yang paling penting lah untuk dapatkan fund lah sebenarnya. Okay, but then in your case, research proposal is important because you nak graduate. Okay, some people do have a different punya purpose lah of kenapa you kena conduct that research. And in order for you to conduct that research, you kena come up with the plan lah. Okay, macam mana you nak buat, kenapa you nak buat, you kena justify everything. Okay, so some important consideration dalam study proposal tu ialah okay, as mentioned in the slide. Okay, so kenapa you nak buat research tu, you kena justify. Okay, the second one, you kena be very clear of apa you nak buat. Okay, and then cuba avoid duplication of the research. Okay, sebenarnya duplication ni bukanlah nak kata kita duplication ni is good sebenarnya, but you should not duplicate ataupun you should not repeat whatever people buat on the same population. Okay, itu dia punya orang panggil bukanlah tricks tapi macam contoh kan. Okay, you baca-baca you punya apa nama tu literature for example, you kata oh ada study ni pernah dibuat okay, berkaitan dengan organ donation sekian, tapi dia buat dekat population Western for example. Okay, so you can duplicate whatever yang dibuat di Western tu untuk you tengok what are the effect, what are the finding yang you dapat kalau you buat benda tu dekat Malaysia. It is a duplication sebenarnya kan on a sense, but then sebenarnya that is something yang kita perlukan untuk tengok the effect on a different population juga. So that's why avoid duplication, tapi it's good to have duplication in other other population lah. Okay, sebab in research, in medical, especially human subject, kita kena diversekan our data. Okay, itu dia punya apa nama tu understanding lah. Okay, so next is be ethical and humane. You need to make sure that avoid bias. Okay, accept the result for whatever they are. Okay, some study. Okay, sebab selalunya kita akan ada hypothesis kan, and kita ada null hypothesis. Kan, in order for you to kata benda tu is apa nama tu betul, your study is apa nama tu accepted, you kena try to apa nama reject the null hypothesis kan. Okay, so kalau some study memang you akan dapat negative punya finding, it's okay. Okay, bukan kata your study tu gagal, no, but then it's actually further strengthening the notion ataupun the hypothesis untuk kata benda ni okay apa as what expected ataupun tidak. Okay, but then selalunya kita akan go for yang the positive result lah rather than negative kan, but then along the way for example especially for researchers yang memang kerja dia tu buat research, memang you akan counter study-study yang you akan dapat negative result. Okay, and it's okay and you should share the finding also. Okay, so be careful with the inferential study ataupun study ada hypothesis. Maintain the quality at any level and try to be economical lah. This one is for large study yang melibatkan funding dan sebagainya. So the common structure in research proposal is as what listed dalam slide. Okay, kita ada title, summary, introduction, okay, research question, hypothesis, literature review, justification and rationale, objective and outcome, methodology, population, analysis, ethical consideration, data management, Gantt chart, budget, study team dan sebagainya. Nampak macam banyak je kan, tapi sebenarnya it's okay. I mean, kita akan go step by step and at the end of it, sebenarnya ada je template yang available for you to use. Okay, yang dah ada dia punya structure, yang you just follow the structure and it should be fine. Okay. So getting started, okay, macam bila you nak start untuk buat proposal, what you should do. Okay, so let's say you nak minta grant. Okay, so you at least to untuk you buat apa research proposal, you need to know your apa the requirement lah. Okay, contoh kalau you nak buat proposal because of your study, then know the requirement of your university first. Okay, find out about the funding agency for example ataupun about the requirement of your university lah. Okay, untuk buat apa nama tu proposal, macam mana yang proposal yang diterima for example. Okay, apa type of research yang diperlukan, apa sebagainya. Next, you need to know the guideline yang available. Macam tadi saya beritahu kan, kalau untuk organ donation, there are a few guidelines yang ada yang you kena baca, yang kena tahu. Because some guideline ada SOP yang tertentu. Okay, and also you get to know the keliling yang related to research lah. Okay, because sometimes memang you akan come up with a very good punya research, okay, but then because you tak follow the guideline, you tak boleh nak buat that research. Then it just waste all the effort and time yang you ada. Okay, so that's why always good to know at least the guideline and the keliling yang ada lah. Okay, so that at least along the way you tahu apa requirement yang you perlukan. Okay, so what makes a good research proposal? First, confirm lah the idea. Okay, idea of the research, and then the research that address the significant problem. Okay, we have a clear description of what you are going to do, and it's a good fit for the institution and apa nama tu ataupun funding agency punya priority ataupun dia punya requirement lah. Okay. So, saya tak akan go for very detail apa yang patut buat tau. Cuma macam nak terangkan secara general je dalam you punya study proposal what you should consider. Okay, untuk buat your research proposal. Okay, so dalam you punya thinking phase, maksudnya macam kita nak start mula-mula nak buat apa, nak cari apa yang kita nak buat dalam kita punya research proposal, the most important thing is for you to have the research question. Okay, the research question is the most important thing. So that by the end of the day, what you should do with that, apa yang you nak solve. Okay, you nak tengok apa. Okay, so for that you need an idea lah. So selalunya macam mana you nak dapatkan idea, then you need to know what are the priority ataupun apa benda yang kita boleh tengok. Okay, apa benda yang boleh ada problem dalam you punya daily life, for example, dalam you punya daily activity. Okay, so the research idea can comes from, for example, kita ada national priority area, kita ada, kalau kata macam nak funding, kita ada MOH funding, MOH punya apa area statement apa, kalau mesti priority, kalau kata you kerja dekat unit, apa unit tu punya apa kerja kan, so what are the things yang related, yang happening around you. Okay, so from there you can come up with a research problem lah ataupun yang you akan work on for your proposal. So other than that, okay, research question can also come from previous research, for example. Okay, ataupun your observation pun boleh. Teori, tiba-tiba you terfikir mandi, kalau buat apa jadi kalau buat macam ni kan. So that can be a research question. Ataupun creativity. So in order for you to do all of this, what you need to do is you need to read. And read. The reading tu you can always come to something lah, come up with something. Okay, in research, the most important part of doing research ialah sebenarnya the reading part. Okay, so most common question in medical research, okay, so I listed a few. So for example, the difference between ataupun the different among the means, okay, the different among the proportion, the association between the factors, the different. So these are the most common topics lah selalunya yang akan dibuat oleh apa investigator. Association of apa patient attending clinics in patient attending blah blah blah, okay, on the understanding of apa certain type of disease, for example. So question to address, okay, during your preparation of your research proposal, kenapa research itu important? Itu yang pertama lah. Okay, ada tak research yang sebelum ni dah dibuat berkaitan that things? Okay, and then how will your research add up to the knowledge yang ada dah sekarang berkaitan perkara tersebut, for example. Okay, then macam mana you nak find out about it? Okay, and then apa yang you nak answer daripada that question lah. Okay, you nak tahu association, you nak tahu patient kita yang ada dekat population ni berapa ramai yang ada penyakit A, penyakit B, penyakit C dan sebagainya. Okay, and then kan dia tadi dah ada statement of why the problem the problem is important kan, and then yang paling macam saya begitu paling penting ialah the review of the literature lah. So you need to do a lot of reviews. Okay, from there baru you can come up with a title and then you can start your writing. Okay, establish. Selalunya kita dah siapkan investigator untuk keep up a small notebook to write out. Tiba-tiba you dapat ilham, you tulislah ilham tu. Nanti later on baru you tengok balik, okay, whatever yang you read, and then you can try to susun whatever benda yang berkaitan dengan apa yang you nak buat. That is how selalunya we come to an idea of how to write a research proposal lah. Okay, the first thing is problem, and then apa yang berlaku berkaitan problem tu, you read a lot. From there, you come up with a title, what you nak buat, then you can start writing your proposal. Selalunya kita nasihatkan investigator to read, to reference at least 25, that is the minimum. Okay, but then for more than that, lagi bagus. Less than that, okay, tak ada masalah, tapi the possibility untuk you tak cover the situation ataupun the entire pictures of your problem tu boleh arise sebab you takkan dapat the possibility untuk tahu adakah dia dah dibuat sebelum ni, macam mana dia dibuat, okay, apa result yang pernah dapat. Okay, so that's why kalau macam dalam GCP course, GRP course, good research practice, kita always advise go for at least 25 minimum of reference lah. Okay, untuk title, so what makes a good research title ialah it need to be focused. Maksud dia tak boleh nak broad. Okay, dia patut highlight what are the main contribution of the research. Okay, use keyword and avoid confusing word lah. Okay, because usually title is the first impression of what readers get kan. So from title you can understand clear of what is the intention of the research. Okay, a catchy title posing a question, but sometimes you can also use acronym lah to represent your title. So that bila orang baca, orang tak interested nak tengok. Okay, for example a good title will give a reviewer or a reader a general sense of what you are investigating. Okay, for example, Association of Practice and Understanding of Organ Donation among Patient Attending KKX. So these are one of the example of a good title lah, because by reading you dah tahu, this investigator nak buat satu study dekat KKX berkaitan dengan practice and understanding of organ donation. Okay, and dia punya association lah. Okay, so it's very focused. Okay, it's not that broad. Okay, it's very focused. Dia dah ada specific things yang dia nak tengok. Okay, practice, understanding of organ, and association. Very easy. Okay, so try to have a title that is menerangkan secara ringkas what you want to do with your research. Okay, don't go for like a very broad general things. Okay, for example,
Dr. Asyraf,
saya.
to interrupt you, there is a question on the floor.
Okay.
Dr. Umar. Yes, Dr. Umar.
Sila.
Hi, can I just ask you, sorry, Dr. Asyraf? Okay, I was just wondering, when you said reference, 25 reference, right? You are talking about citing and reviewing 25 references at minimum for a proposal, or any literature or a whole research as a whole thing. At the end, we have got 25 or more. Or it's just a proposal.
Reading for your reading.
For reading.
To
So
get
this has nothing to do with the citations,
No.
Is there a minimum requirement of citations when we are writing proposal?
No, there is no minimum requirement. But
Uh-huh.
kalau kata you manage to just get, for example, 5.
Right.
Okay, then you need to justify lah kenapa. Kalau kata memang that research area is like something that is not really people outside are doing, then memang kita boleh terima lah.
Oh, okay. Alright.
Okay. Tak semestinya 10 literature review 25 ke 50 literature review tu is good. For example, it can be very sama je, semua tak ada beza pun kan. So tak ada masalah. In terms of literature review, there is no specific number. As long as you can justify, then it's okay. But the 25 is reading related to generally about your idea.
Okay. So I have a proposal, a topic, and then if I can find only a certain number of literatures related to it, tak jadi masalah lah. I just need to cite some of it.
Betul.
And then just write my proposal. Alright. Thank you so much.
But the important thing that you need to consider is dalam research proposal, anything yang you write, you need to justify. Kenapa? Kenapa 5? Kenapa 10? Kenapa 50? Kenapa dapat macam ni? Kenapa dapat macam tu? So keep that in mind. Okay?
Alright. Okay. Thank you.
No problem. Okay. Sama juga dengan ethics Dalam ethics pun, kalau ada justification, kenapa you nak buat benda ni? Kenapa jadi macam tu? Kita akan terima. Selalunya justification yang akan decide sama ada that one is acceptable or not. Okay, kalau you boleh justify, tapi justification pun kena logical justification lah. Not something that you make out of the box. Okay? Alright. We continue. Okay. Okay, jap. Alright. So this one is example of a good title. Okay. Too long and technical will not gain the reviewer interest or attention. Too short akan buat reviewer too critical. Okay. So for example, the use of auto-dissemination trap in order to determine the bioefficacy for the control of dengue mosquito transmitting virus under field condition. Okay, sangat panjang. So, ada siapa-siapa boleh tolong rephrase tak the title so that make it very short and orang panggil okay. Ada siapa-siapa nak try? Anyone? Tak ada? Ke semua dah tepu? Okay? Sila, try.
Use of auto-dissemination trap
Okay.
for the control of dengue mosquitoes
Alright.
under field condition. Dia macam something missing. Tapi itu kalau saya akan take out in order to determine the bioefficacy you. So just letak control of dengue mosquitoes transmitting virus under field condition.
Okay. Ada something orang tulis ni saya tahu ada jawapan di bawah sebenarnya. Okay, yes, no Diana, sila.
Mana tadi dia punya statement?
Sekejap saya buka balik. Sekejap. Okay. Alright.
Okay, saya try. Determination of the bioefficacy of the auto-dissemination trap for control of dengue mosquito transmission. Macam tu kot.
Okay. Alright. Okay. Still you can improve that lagi. Alright. Selalunya saya akan nasihatkan ataupun bukanlah saya nasihatkan. Selalunya dalam title apa yang paling penting ialah first is methodology, kena ada satu. Yang kedua, apa subjek you. Yang ketiga, kalau kata ada site, letakkan site tersebut. Okay, so dalam study ni, okay, kita tahu dia nak tengok, dia nak determine the bioefficacy, okay, of the trap. Okay, the subject here pun ada juga, tapi sebab it's very long. Okay, so selalunya apa yang saya nasihatkan ataupun this can be rephrased into effectiveness, okay, of auto-dissemination trap in controlling, okay, dengue borne mosquito transmission ke ataupun population, okay, at site X. Itu sahaja sebenarnya. Okay, under field condition ni sebab under field condition ni betul lah macam saya cakap kan, ada something missing kan. Field condition tu maksudnya dekat on site, dekat site. Okay, sebabnya selalunya kalau untuk dengue mosquito ni kalau kita buat dekat lab memang very easy untuk kita control, tapi kalau dekat site ada banyak factor kan, for example kan ada environment factor, human factor dan sebagainya. So it can be different dekat dalam lab and dekat field. So that's why, tapi field tu field dekat mana kan. So antara suggestion yang saya boleh bagi kat sini ialah saya copy paste lah yang saya dapat, yang saya rephrase. Okay. Alamak. Ini kalau saya akan buat contoh macam ni lah. This is the orang kata title yang very focus dan juga senang untuk people understand. Effectiveness of auto-dissemination trap in controlling the population of dengue-borne mosquito inside X. Okay? Because first, you nak tahu memang dia nak tengok auto-dissemination trap punya effectiveness kan dalam bioefficacy. Okay? Then, subjek dia ialah population of dengue-borne mosquito on field punya ni ialah inside X. Okay? Kat mana-mana lah yang nak buat. So, you mention the site terus. So, dia nak buat dekat Kelang, dia nak buat dekat KK. And then, you dah senang kerja you untuk justify everything. Kenapa nak buat dekat Kelang? Sebab Kelang ni dengue mosquito dia banyak. Punya case kan, dengue punya case. Dan then kita nak cuba lah letak auto dissemination trap ni. Boleh kita untuk kita control the dengue population so that dia akan affect di dengue punya case. Macam tu lah. Okay. It's very straightforward dan tak very orang panggil, dia tak too grammatical juga. Okay. It's very easy, straightforward dan senang untuk difahami. Okay. So, kalau you dah ada title, then kita go for the introduction kan. Dalam introduction, what you should cover selalunya ialah untuk you cover lah based on your reading and sebagainya, the specific needs and problem that you nak arise yang arises lah, okay, that lead you to the research. Okay, then selalunya you kena bagi tahu juga dalam tu introduction the significant and the gap identified. Maksudnya, okay, through reading dekat Malaysia hanya 5 je study yang dibuat and tak ada lagi orang buat study berkaitan dengan this particular area. So that's why saya nak buat research ni. Macam itulah. Okay. And then dalam introduction juga masukkan the benefits of this research to yang you akan buat ni. Contoh, so by doing this research you akan dapat propose something lah. Probably you akan go for macam you akan menambahkan lagi knowledge ataupun you can go for something that can help the researcher ataupun help the physician treating this disease ke, ataupun you can understand more about your patient dan sebagainya. Okay. Then you can also come up with the objective lah through your introduction. Okay, what are the research question? Okay, from here also you can come up with the hypothesis dan sebagainya. Alright. So for the research question and objective, selalunya kita akan go for bullet list lah. Okay, you list down. Okay, the primary objective apa? Okay, the secondary objective apa? Okay, and it should always be action oriented lah. Okay, you nak tahu prevalence. Okay, you nak tahu the association. Alright, and then you kena relate juga kepada the gap yang you identify tadi tu kan. So by doing this research, you can answer what is the gap yang ada dalam your ideas tu, so that's why you buat that research. Macam itulah. So these are the things yang kita perlu consider. And then sebenarnya dalam proposal ni you can always first justify, second relate. Kenapa? Apa yang you dah cakap sebelum ni you relate dia balik. Okay? Dengan the gaps yang ada, kenapa you nak buat, why, how dan sebagainya. Okay? Dan juga kadang-kadang you boleh relate to the objective of the sponsor agency lah. Kalau you nak bercakap berkaitan dengan funding kan. So kalau that funding come from organisation yang memang untuk mental health. So that's why you buat study berkaitan dengan mental health dalam population sekian. Macam itulah. Okay. The objective, okay, is very important and section and centered of the study is around the objective. Okay, it should be stated very clearly. It should be very specific and measurable lah. Selalunya kita cakap objektif cannot be something yang kita panggil should be something yang quantified. Quantified tu kita boleh weight. Okay, sama ada dari segi dia punya berapa ramai, okay, berapa kerap, for example, berapa banyak, and then kenapa, benda-benda tu semua patut objektif, it's supposed to be measurable. Okay, tak perlu ada too many objektif. Okay, selalunya 3 objektif pun dah cukup. Kadang-kadang kita buat 1 primary objektif, 2 secondary objektif, tak kisah. Okay, as long as don't go for a very broad objective, go for a very specified objective. Okay, you nak tengok apa keperluan you punya patient, you nak tengok background of your new patient, you nak tengok apa patient punya understanding, you nak tengok berapa ramai patient yang attend, you nak tengok benda-benda tu lah yang you boleh buat. Something yang very specific and measurable. Okay, if there is more than one objective, the objective can be presented in appropriate order of importance. Okay, itu pun you boleh buat jugalah. Okay, yang mana yang paling important, yang mana yang selalunya primary objective lah yang paling important, the most important yang you akan tengok, and then from the primary objective you boleh tengok secondary objective. Contoh for example yang saya boleh bagi ialah, contoh you nak tengok you ada data patient dekat clinics, okay, so you nak buat study berkaitan dengan cross sectional yang nak tengok balik, okay, dalam tempoh 5 tahun, okay, study apa patient yang datang ke clinics, okay, berapa ramai, the primary objective is to see the prevalence of the patient come to the clinic with diabetes, for example. Okay, so you collect the data of the patient. Okay, so the primary objective of the study is to see the prevalence of the diabetics lah. Okay, amongst the patient attending clinic X. Okay, so there is also secondary objective yang you boleh tengok. Okay, based on the data yang you ada, you boleh dapat tahu the demographic, for example. So the background of your patient macam mana. Okay, berapa ramai lelaki, berapa ramai perempuan, daripada mana dia punya background, education background. Okay, berapa umur dia berapa. That is kita consider sebagai secondary yang you boleh dapat juga di samping the main things yang you dapat, which is the prevalence of the diabetes patient, for example. Okay. Then literature review. Okay, literature review ni is something yang you kena read berkaitan dengan you punya study. Okay, sama ada how it was conducted before, what is the result of the of the previous study conducted dan sebagainya. Okay, so basically a researcher cannot perform significant research without first understanding the literature of the field lah. Okay, so sebenarnya literature review ni digunakan untuk make us investigator ni clear, okay, what is the situation ataupun the whole picture of your punya study tu atau you punya proposed study tu kan, macam mana study tu dibuat sebelum ni, because from there you can either use whatever yang telah dibuat sebelum ni, okay, ataupun you can come up with something new, for example, okay, especially kalau kata dia melibatkan prosedur ataupun questionnaire, for example kan. So kalau you nak tengok contoh prevalence of depression, okay, so bila you buat literature review, okay, so kebanyakan daripada studi yang dia buat ni sebelum ni guna questionnaire A, okay, and then you boleh tengok lah, okay, questionnaire A ni ditunjuk macam ni, tapi you nak cuba guna questionnaire B. Kenapa you nak cuba guna questionnaire B? Sebab questionnaire B ni weightage dia maybe lagi berat daripada questionnaire A. Then you can justify kat situ lah. Okay, then you can see kenapa the importance. Okay, so you can kat situ banyak benda sebenarnya boleh kita dapat daripada literature review berkaitan dengan our study and topics. Okay, so highlight whatever new and different, okay, from the literature. Okay, kenapa you nak adapt? Sebab contoh you nak validate the question yang ada dekat US ataupun dekat luar negara, dekat dalam Malaysia. Kenapa? Because nak tengoklah sama ada questionnaire tu fit tak dalam our population. So, kalau fit, then you can use it for screening of our patient later. And it can be implemented dekat other places juga. So that is the flow. So by doing this, you can have a picture of what you should do, what will be the result, what is the proposed plan after your study. So that can show you the readers or the reviewers to the importance of your study sebenarnya. Okay, from the literature review. So basically literature review ni you search and you access and then you integrate whatever you dapat untuk help you more understanding ataupun to help you answer your research question lah sebenarnya. Okay, then after you doing that, baru you come up with your research methodology. Macam mana you nak buat your research. Okay, research methodology ni dia macam as I mentioned, it's supposed to be systematic lah. Okay, it may be understood as science is a study of how research is done scientifically. Okay, so dalam methodology kita ada the design, kan? So the research procedure are the tools, okay, the process, the way of which data, how the data is obtained. Okay, so study design dalam medical research kita ada a few. Okay, as you can see there is a hierarchy of evidence, tetapi nasihat saya, you don't go for the most upper punya evidence part. Okay, don't go for the RCT, tak perlu pun. It's okay for you to just do cross-sectional study, tak ada masalah. Bukan nak kata lagi tinggi you pergi lagi bagus you punya study, tak. All of the stages tu is bagus. Okay, cumanya I mean you kena consider juga dari segi you punya timing, okay, you punya resources ataupun you punya budget and you punya population. Okay, because the higher you go, more budget you will need, okay, more people you will recruit, okay, and then more time is needed for you to complete the study. Okay, so that's why for university punya student, saya selalu always macam kalau ada ni nasihatkan is don't go for RCT, don't go for cohort. Okay, just do whatever data yang you dah ada, gunakan that. Okay, sebagai contoh, buat cross-sectional study ataupun buat retrospective study, it will be much easier. And sometimes orang panggil sebab yelah kadang-kadang kalau macam university student ni kita tahu you dah ada kelas nak pergi, kadang-kadang kalau macam kat hospital your clinical practice tu you still kena buat dan sebagainya kan. So that's why tak perlu nak aim for a high. Kalau you betul-betul interested in research later on, come and join us in NIH, then we can go for RCT, tak ada masalah. Okay, the requirement for RCT is very very tough sebenarnya. Okay, but then either way, which study design you nak guna, you can specify and justify dalam you punya study protocol ataupun proposal. Okay, study design should be clearly stated. It should be used appropriately lah to achieve the objective. Saya rasa macam ada question orang tanya dekat dalam tak ada bunyi.
Yeah. Sorry, it's me again.
Yes, ma'am.
I just want to ask, assuming, just say, I've got this population that I want to study.
Okay.
And my tool would be a questionnaire. So in my proposal, assuming I'm writing a proposal, do I include the tool that I created? Do I include it, or do I just state that I intend to use a questionnaire, or should I create the questionnaire as a tool and include it in the proposal?
Alright. Okay, bercakap berkaitan questionnaire. Untuk questionnaire, for you to use in a study, criteria of the questionnaire is it should be validated. Okay?
Right.
So kalau kata you nak gunakan questionnaire yang you develop,
Okay.
then you need to show dalam proposal tu, has it been validated before?
Okay.
Okay, kalau kata validated, macam mana you validate? Because validation of questionnaire, there are a few stages. Kan? Ataupun kalau
study, tak di-validate, it's just macam it's a part of a proposal. It's just something, tapi I mean, you know, it's not validated yet. It's just something that created.
Meaning that you nak cuba come up with a questionnaire, betul tak?
Yes, betul.
Then kalau macam tu, you beritahu lah sebenarnya your study is you tengah stages of developing the questionnaire, not validating the questionnaire.
Okay. So benda tu kena tulis dalam proposal lah. So
Yes,
attach
betul.
questionnaire ni dan cakap benda ni di-develop tapi belum di-validate lagi lah.
No, you are in, maksudnya your study
Dalam proses.
Your study ni is a study to develop the questionnaire.
Okay,
Tahu tak?
alright.
Bukan you nak gunakan questionnaire ni untuk terus come up with the something yang you nak dapat. For example, questionnaire A digunakan untuk nak tengok what you nak gunakan for this questionnaire for.
Okay, I like for just say to find out number of organ donors.
Using questionnaire. Number of donors is data collection je, bukan questionnaire.
Sorry, organ pledges.
Or organ pledges. So meaning that, okay, you punya objective is untuk tengok sama ada this questionnaire ni boleh digunakan ataupun tidak, ataupun how. Sebabnya kalau dalam questionnaire ni dia ada sama ada you nak gunakan tu untuk capai something ataupun you nak develop a tools untuk capai benda tu. Faham tak?
So
kalau
saya
developing, then it's okay. Tapi kalau you nak gunakan tu untuk capai something, meaning that things should be validated dulu.
Kalau saya nak guna ni untuk find out mereka punya inclination atau preference macam tu. So it needs to
kalau macam tu, my advice is try to go for a tools yang dah validated. Instead of you yourself just go put whatever, because bila you buat something, macam you create something, reviewer akan tend to kata, how do you know that your things ni betul-betul tunjukkan the inclination of these things? Faham tak? Go for something validated. That is you akan dapat daripada your literature review lah sebenarnya. Ada tak tools yang telah digunakan untuk
kalau tools tu tak pernah digunakan, kalau tak jumpa ambil sofa lah. Kalau tak jumpa
kalau tak jumpa tak ada, then sepatutnya you kena start from scratch lah. You kena buat dulu, buat validation, then you test the validation betul ke tak. Okay, benda tu lagi kompleks lah sebenarnya. Dia ada internal consistency, ada all those things. daripada situ baru you kata okay, this tool can be used untuk tengok the inclination of something. Okay?
Okay. Alright. Okay, thank you.
Tadi ada macam ni apa? Ya. Ada orang angkat tangan lagi? Ada soalan lagi ke? Okay, saya rasa ni pun nak ujung-ujung ni. Sekejap Okay. Then when we talk about sampling, is for the population lah. Okay, macam mana kita sample. Okay, it's important to know the minimum requirement of the study punya sample. Okay, and how you arrive with it, you can show dengan calculation lah selalunya. Kalau ada calculation. Okay. So it's a bargain between the precision and the resources yang ada lah. The time frame also, you kena masukkan dalam you punya proposal. Okay. Sama ada berapa lama you diperlukan untuk collect data dan sebagainya. Usually kita akan present dalam bentuk Gantt chart lah. Ataupun flowchart. Okay. So flowchart digunakan untuk highlight the sequence ataupun relationship between the different activities dalam you punya study. Alright. So macam yang diberitahu, go for chart and tables. Okay. And go for flowchart kalau kata ada sequences of activities. Right. And then kita go for the data analysis part. So this is where you describe how the data is collected, how the data collected will be analysed. Selalunya data analysis ni kita akan go and ask help from biostatistician lah. Okay, and you can also get the idea from the previous study conducted. Macam mana dia akan buat. Selalunya kita akan test for power, okay, for all those chi-square, okay, logistic regression dan sebagainya. Okay, tak perlu you nak tahu detail. Okay, pada kalau you ada ideas, selalunya just follow whatever previous punya study dah buat. Ataupun you kena dapatkan nasihat daripada you punya biostatistik lah. But the simplest analysis you can do ialah descriptive analysis. Okay, berapa ramai orang datang, background dia macam mana, berapa lelaki, berapa perempuan. That is the simplest analysis data yang you boleh buat. Okay, the complex one, that is the one yang you kena minta pertolongan daripada statistik lah. Okay, the regression, the association dan sebagainya, itu you kena gunakan all those tool, the SSPS dan sebagainya. Okay, description of process. Okay, dalam you punya protocol, it should be very go for as detailed as possible regarding the process yang you akan lalui dalam you punya study, especially the procedure. Okay. The budget, kalau kata you ada budget, okay, be realistic of the budget. Okay, selalunya kita akan go for expand a bit lah, sebab kita tak tahu kan along the way tu apa yang jadi. Okay, don't go under the budget, go up a bit. Okay, tetapi cuba untuk estimate and go for the nearest possible accuracy lah. Okay. Ethical issue. Okay, don't forget, yang saya beritahu tadi, dalam your proposal, please also ada section berkaitan ethical issue. Is there any potential risk or harm to the participant? Kalau ada, macam mana you nak reduce them? Macam mana is the informed consent process kalau ada? Okay. And then macam mana participant tu punya compensation, for example. Ada tak apa-apa sensitive issue ataupun criminal things yang boleh arises daripada you punya study, macam mana follow up tu dilakukan dan sebagainya. Okay, then data management pun kena ada juga. Okay, this one macam will the data be recorded, okay, macam mana the store, macam mana the dispose, macam mana the ownership. This part is also required dalam you punya study proposal. Okay, study team, okay, there should be a list of study team. And the summary of the research proposal, selalunya go for a good idea. Okay, you really prepare it well, describe very detailed whatever you want to do. Okay, please do not come up with a 2 pages proposal. Okay, at least minimum sepatutnya kena ada 5 and above. Okay, alright. This one is very common among investigator. Okay, get used to rejection. Okay, and resubmission. Okay, selalunya first submission tu akan patah balik kepada you lah untuk buat pembetulan. That is very common. Okay, kalau you hantar first and terus diterima, Very good lah. Okay. Final notes. Okay, proposal, please go for orang panggil, jangan terlalu lirik jangan terlalu gunakan orang panggil bahasa-bahasa ke apa ke, go for clear, concise, okay, very straightforward punya writing. Okay, and then a good proposal is well written and attractive to read lah, maksud dia. Please justify, okay, please relate whatever you write and go for a clear, straightforward punya writing. Okay, that is from my opinion lah. Okay, the requirement, saya just ulang whatever yang I said previously. Okay, there ada general requirement in methodology, apa yang perlu di follow, in ethics and data management, apa yang perlu ada. So kalau kata you ada all of these things, so by right sepatutnya your proposal is okay. Okay, the PIS requirement, sebenarnya kita ada template dah siap untuk you. Kalau untuk MOH lah, NMRR sebenarnya. So you can get the template. Okay, tengok the template and just edit whatever yang dia berkaitan dengan you punya study. Tak ada masalah. Okay, nampak macam banyak benda tapi sebenarnya benda-benda tu is kalau you dah practice, it's tak, benda tu is just berkaitan from one each other je sebenarnya. Okay, so kalau you nak buat observational ni, kita juga ada template dia, and for clinical trial pun ada our own template. Okay, you can use the template from university, tak ada masalah, as long as the template ada all the requirement, then it's okay. Tak semestinya you kena use one specific template. Okay, as long as you can come up with a template yang ada all the information, tak ada masalah. Okay, other than that, okay, saya tidak promoting NIH kepada you guys because I know that some people are not really aware of NIH and what are we doing. Okay, other than doing research, we are also facilitating, okay, research punya activity. Okay, kita buat consultation, kita juga buat exercises ataupun kita buat consultation lah. Okay, untuk investigator, one of it, waktu you buat literature review, you can use the Cochrane. Cochrane ni ialah systematic literature review di mana NIH ada subscription, and the subscription is available nationwide. Okay, so you can use that. Okay, untuk consultation also NIH do provide the support for investigator, especially MOH investigator, for free. Okay, kalau kata kat university, sometimes you kena bayar kan untuk all the consultation, other than your supervisor lah. But NIH, kalau you MOH staff, you can go for free. Okay, go to NIH website and go to the e-biostatistic and methodology consultancy clinic system lah. So register there and you can always book a slot with NIH punya biostatistician. Kita juga ada CRC network hospital macam saya cakap tadi tu. Kalau kata you ada masalah berkaitan proposal write-up, methodology ke data analysis, you can go for the CRC punya network hospital lah, HKL dan sebagainya. Dalam your punya study pun, sometimes your study need a fund kan, so you can, MOH ada our own fund for research, MREC kita panggil, MOH is a grant, you can know you can get to know more about MOH kalau you download di NIH guideline, ada dia punya syarat-syarat apa yang diperlukan untuk siapa yang boleh apply for grant dan sebagainya. Application subscription for investigator pun kita ada. NIH do provide access to database and journal. Tapi saya rasa kat universiti pun ada jugalah. Tapi kalau outside of university, waktu you dah kerja ke apa, kalau you tak ada nak go for the access of the database, for example Elsevier, Scopus punya database, okay, and then direct sign sebagainya, NIH ada benda-benda tu, and we do provide the services for investigator. Ternitin subscription waktu you nak write up nanti, you nak check your punya write up tu kita panggil ada plagiarism ke tak. You can gunakan Ternitin punya apps bagi siapa yang familiar. Ternitin, NIH to provide the subscription of Ternitin punya apps kepada MOH investigator. Okay, and a few others lah. So these are all accessible dalam kita punya NIH website. Okay, please use it. Okay, waktu you nak buat your study lah kalau kata perlu. Okay, if not, you can always go to any nearest CRC and they can help you with the matters lah. Alright, So that's it. Okay, saya dah drag banyak gila masa ni saya rasa kan. So sorry. Okay. Kalau ada question, yes, I'm open for any question or anything yang you nak ni lah. Okay, silakan.
Dr. Asyraf,
Yeah.
I ada question. Kaitri from Selayang.
Okay, yes.
Actually, kan yang kita orang nak buat yang Master of Organ Donation tu kan.
Betul.
There is this one thing called Theoretical Framework.
Okay.
Actually, I'm not familiar with that. I mean, few of us are not familiar with that thing. So I don't know what exactly is theoretical framework. When I googled it, I saw it's some like macam it's like a chart or graph like that, right?
Okay. Theoretical framework untuk apa tu? Sebab saya tak faham.
Okay. Dia tanya kalau macam tu research tu dia suruh buat theoretical framework of the proposal lah. Dia punya topik tu. Macam contoh saya punya.
Okay.
My one is attitude, knowledge and perception of healthcare in critical care area towards organ donation lah.
Okay.
So kalau macam tu sebab saya punya kan attitude, knowledge dengan perception.
Betul.
So they asked to do the theoretical framework for this topic. That means I have to acknowledge the problem. What attitude problem? What is the knowledge problem? What is the perception problem that I'm facing in the critical care, healthcare people in order for me to make the organ donation a success thing lah.
Betul.
So that's the thing. So I nak tanya, so is the theoretical tu gambar yang graph tu cukup ke atau kena buat description juga ya?
It depends. Macam sebabnya I think that is the requirement from your university lah to come up with the framework tu tak?
Sebab yang ni dia orang ada bagi lampiran dalam yang kan yang HLP tu kan.
Okay.
So they actually showed the lampiran. So the lampiran they got the kan you showed like you have like a template, right? They also have given us a list of template.
Alright.
So in the list of the template, just before the significance of the research tu, dia ada tulis theoretical framework.
Okay. So sebenarnya benda tu is not really compulsory untuk you tapi kalau dah compulsory untuk you punya apa nama
dalam template tu dia ada tu. So
ada benda tu. So dia more on like macam mind map how you come up with the question. Kenapa? Contoh, okay, sekarang ni Malaysia organ donation punya apa nama tu rate rendah.
Okay.
Kenapa you kata rate rendah? You come up kenapa? So daripada low rate, why low rate? Satu, maybe low literacy ke, orang Malaysia kurang membaca ke, ataupun dari segi mungkin religious belief. Just you can come up with a mind map pun tak ada masalah. Mind map pun bantu juga.
So mind map tu macam saya lah kan, saya dia macam healthcare professional in critical care.
Betul.
So dia punya 3 masalah yang saya nak, this one to increase the organ donation punya tu, it's the attitude, knowledge and perception. So under that attitude, apa attitude problem dia orang ada, and then is it something like that or the problem of the
sekarang ni the KAP is a tool for you to see generally what are the perception of what are the kita panggil penerimaan orang berkaitan dengan organ donation kan.
That means contohnya kalau attitude kan, attitude of the healthcare professional in critical care, the early detection of the potential donor lah contohnya kan. So their attitude, untuk that means the bawah attitude tu one of the point is to detect early detection of the potential donor lah, because
for me you should kalau saya takkan go for KAP, you dah go for K, A ke P, tak perlu pun. Go for sekarang ni you punya ni is you nak tahu dia punya tahap sebelum KAP tu you title apa tadi?
Organ healthcare attitude, knowledge and perception of healthcare professionals in critical care area towards organ donation.
Meaning that kenapa you come up with critical, why you go for critical care in kenapa organ donation satu? Kenapa critical care?
Because critical care is basically where you actually find patients who are critically ill lah in this one, and this is where you highly come up with the potential donors.
Daripada critical care?
Critical care areas. Sebab in Malaysia kan kita tak ada yang DCD, mostly is brain dead patient yang kita go towards the organ donation.
Betul.
So technically in critical care, the patients are more critically ill and likelihood their mortality rate is higher. So in order for you to find organ donor or actually tissue donor, so basically this is the pool of people who come across the patient more often than the normal wards, than non-critical care areas. They are because their patients are more stable there.
Sorry, Dr. Ashraf, Dr. Gayatri. Okay. So in I try to give an example lah sebab what you mention ni, this conceptual framework. Last time masa I went for a research workshop dulu long time ago. So I was doing this for my ODC punya program, for the organ donation professional certification program.
Okay.
So maybe I can just share dia punya my proposal presentation for that research so that we can see the context lah. So I'll share dekat dalam ni dulu
Okay, thank you.
I just do a very short presentation. Dr. Ashraf, if you don't mind, kita extend lagi sikit lah benda ni.
Boleh, tak apa.
Thank you, Dr. Ashraf.
But then, Gayatri, I think sebenarnya the framework is what you just mentioned just now. Itu framework dia sebenarnya. Kenapa? Sebabnya sekarang ni you kata untuk dah dapatkan ni is more easier to get from the critical donor rather than normal people. So that are the framework yang you should come up with.
Okay.
Rather than you macam go for like the K, the A, the P, itu sebenarnya tu nanti itulah tool untuk you tengok the entire things sebenarnya. KAP tu is a tool. Bukan kata ada masalah dengan K, ada masalah dengan A, ada masalah dengan P, no. But then the bigger picture of it is I rasa the framework is what we explained now lah. Okay.
Yang macam tadi saya terangkan tu lah.
Yes, so go for macam organ donation among critical ni. Kenapa? Apa problem dia? Satu, sekarang ni population tu lagi senang untuk deteriorated ke apa benda kan. So that ada framework yang you should come up with sebenarnya.
Okay.
Untuk kita tengok sebenarnya ini yang the picture, masalah dia macam ni, then you nak tengok kenapa dia tak jadi macam ni based by using the KAP punya tools.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay,
thank you, Dr. Ashraf.
Problem. Go, Ran.
Okay, sorry.
Apa Dr. Umar tadi ada something nak cakap?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. It's like in my research, my proposal, right? I'm basically looking at inclination and outlook on organ donation among blood donors. So the pool of people that I'm going to look at are blood donors. Who come in to donate blood. So that's why just now I was asking you. So because this pool of people are memang going to come and donate blood. So how I intend to ask this question to study their outlook or their perception is by asking them knowledge on organ donation. Or are they pledges and stuff like that. So benda-benda ni it's as simple as macam if I'm just going to ask knowledge just to find out the knowledge, maybe a 2 or 3 question kind of thing to dapat the inquiry to get this kind of data just to nampak their outlook. Is this still considered a tool which needs to be validated? Sebab when I try to look at literatures, I tak dapat find any tool yang people have used before lah. Adalah macam psychological outlook macam tu ada, tapi not this per se. Their inclination towards organ donation amongst blood donors I tak jumpa lah. So I thought in this proposal it's just a proposal, belum buat study lagi kan. So I thought I can just propose inilah metodnya.
Faham? So kalau untuk macam tu, kalau you cuba propose, meaning that you cuba come up with tools. Faham tak? Rather than you nak test the inclination, you nak come up with a tool to test the inclination.
Okay.
Kalau macam you nak come up with a tool, itu proses dia ada banyak validation, ada content validation, ada face-to-face validation, ada internal consistency validation. Then while you try it on a population to see tools ni boleh tak guna untuk tengok inclination. Tapi in your case, because you nak tengok the inclination of the blood donation kan, meaning that there is already established tool for that. Okay, kalau tak ada, yes, you patut come up with your own tool, which is going to take a long time. Okay, but my advice is, okay, sebab bila cakap pasal inclination, sekejap Zai, aku ambil masa sekejap, Zai. Sebab bila bercakap pasal inclination ni, dia you can either go for adapt, adopt ataupun create. Okay, adapt meaning that you ambil and then you tukar. Adopt is you ambil 100%, you create baru lah. Okay, so go for a tools yang tak semestinya tools tu kena very specific to a blood donor. Meaning that try to cari tools-tool yang mungkin digunakan untuk inclination untuk other type of population. Boleh juga, tak ada masalah. You can justify lah. So tool ni digunakan and dah validate untuk patient yang ada cancer, bukan blood donor lah. Kan? Tapi and then you can kata, so kita nak tengok pula adakah tools ni okey digunakan untuk blood donor. Tentulah.
So saya boleh cakap adapted from this tool lah kat situ.
Yes. Tapi perlu justify lah. Benda tu perlu justify. Tak semestinya you kena cari very specific, kena benda tu, tools tu kena ada untuk blood donor yang faham tak? As long as the tool tu boleh tengok inclination of people, kan? For organization, tak kisahlah dia digunakan di mana, dia boleh kita boleh adapt that.
Okay,
adapt tu saya sama ada you ambil a part of it, itu kita panggil adapt lah.
Right. Okay.
Kalau adopt into the entire things, kita adopt.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Asyraf. Thank you.
No problem. Good.
Okay, saya buat very brief as possible presentation ni sebab kita pun macam dah melajak kat masa ni. Okay, anyway, so last time masa saya masuk dekat saya join this one research workshop, they did a guide on doing a proposal presentation jugalah. So this is what I came with lah for the research proposal presentation tu. This is not entirely correct tau. I mean in terms of apa yang saya tulis, but dia punya content is the correct content lah, because kita orang guna template dia orang bagi. It's just nak share so that they can get some feeling how it is being written lah in reality. So this is from my perspective masa I participate dekat workshop tu. So for the research proposal presentation masa tu, saya propose the title as monitoring depth by neurological criteria a cross-sectional study lah. So this one is actually a topic given masa kita orang buat kita orang punya certification program tu lah untuk coursework dia. So this is the introduction. So basically kita define what is the health problem behind the punya brain death, and then distribution in term of person, place and time ni is like study delimitation dia lah. So kita nak determine dia punya scope of study tu untuk include dalam research proposal tu. So here I just briefly explain the history of brain death, how it's being established dekat Malaysia lah, brain death punya diagnosis tu. And then kita ada determinants of health problem ni is more who are the population at risk lah. Maknanya siapa yang biasanya brain death ni, what is the criteria macam tu, how selection criteria of brain death untuk buat brain death test dekat hospital. And then there's this problem statement ni because we want to determine what are the barriers and challenges lah in determining brain death dekat Malaysia. So I've chosen administrative and healthcare workers punya factors lah as part of determining the challenges and barriers to determine brain death. And then masa tu saya buat justification of study is masa tu saya letak lack of information regarding brain death testing and diagnosis in Malaysia warrant the study to determine the prevalence of brain death and to identify its barriers. And then among of the research questions that were given was what is the prevalence of brain death dekat main tertiary center in Malaysia, what are the hospital barriers or challenges in establishing brain death, and what is the association between scoring system used in brain death detection and the completeness of brain death testing. This is like on the go punya ni lah, punya thing that I have to fikir masa tu. So memang not much deeper thought given. So this is where the amount of the answers that I came up with lah masa nak prepare, masa isi template tu. So ini objective of the study lah, letak dalam proposal tu. So divided into general and specific objective. So the general objective was to identify probable and confirmed brain death cases during the study period. And then specific objective was to determine the prevalence of brain death, to identify the hospital barriers, and then to determine the association between scoring system. Scoring system ni is basically tools lah kita guna untuk identify potential brain death patient dalam identifying potential organ donors ke hospital. And then brain death detection and completeness of brain death testing. So basically the working hypothesis masa tu I came up with was there's a significant association lah between the tools used to score the brain death potential in case detection and also the completeness of brain death testing lah, the brain death test itself lah, buat ke tak buat dia punya outcome tu. And then this were the literature review that I've mentioned dekat dalam tu. So there was two studies lah basically. One is Ivan Rocha Ferreira da Silva et al. Regarding on the standardization of brain death and organ donation criteria worldwide. And then there's also another study by James Dubois et al. Lah. They mentioned that medical personnel were not sufficiently familiar with the legal and medical status of brain death, thus having a less favorable attitude toward organ donation and to approach the family member untuk request for donation lah. So this was the conceptual framework, problem analysis chart. So basically kita nak tengok what is conceptual framework ni is like more like what is your scope or your study lah, your scope and your delimitation. So what is your study will cover, what is the boundary and what will your study not cover. Kalau ideally lah speaking, kalau nak buat conceptual framework ni, we include everything yang ada dekat dalam organ donation, what we know about organ donation, and then lepas tu kita kecilkan scope tu so that we can identify the gap and what is the gap that we try to fill lah in our study. So all the elements can be included. So in my context ni saya add on severe, so starting dia punya general population was patient admitted with severe head injury. And then dia punya population sample yang population of interest yang kita nak study tu is the population yang diagnosed with brain death lah, to determine its prevalence. So along the way tu kita akan try to identify what are the hospital barriers. So we explore other studies which includes regarding on barriers towards brain death, diagnosing brain death, towards increasing the rate of organ donors dekat hospital. So dekat dalam ni I've included the among of the hospital barriers are the staff, the facilities and infrastructure and also the administrative policy being in place lah dekat dalam hospital. And then also there are patient's characteristics such as patient's condition, biochemical parameters, vital organs damage, and then also the scoring for brain death that they use untuk trigger the potentiality for to perform brain death test lah. So ini the study method which was used. It was a cross section initially mixed method lah, tapi lepas tu after revising I settled for quantitative je lah. So and then where is the study will be conducted. So masa when we were doing the mixed method ni, ideally masa tu nak buat dekat the critical care areas lah where a lot of severe head injuries were reported. And then the study duration, and then what is the study population. So I've also included what is the inclusion and exclusion criteria for our study subject. So masa tu because we were doing mixed method, I thought about doing a sample size calculation jugalah, what is the minimum patients that we need to get. So because it's something like a prospective study jugalah. Tapi lepas I revised dia punya methodology tu dah go for quantitative cross sectional study. So I've settled with universal sampling lah as mentioned previously. So yang ni just dia punya ni, what are the variables that we will use to collect, we included in the data collection form, and then what are the variable definition, and then what is the conceptual definition, and then next is the operational definition. So basically these are the technical terms je lah of what is your variable, what is the explanation for the variables tu semua lah, what is the matrix used to measure the variables. And then this is the study flowchart lah. Basically you summarize your methodology lah daripada mula sampai habis, macam mana you nak buat in your flowchart. And then what is the statistical analysis that you will be employing to do your to further analyze your findings. And then what is the ethical consideration will be included in for your study, and also your data collection form lah. So basically it's a dummy table, and then your study plan lah, which is your Gantt chart. So basically this is the whole structure of my study proposal last time lah I presented. Ya, ada soalan?
No, Diana ada tanya. Yes.
Tanya soalan kat Dr. Asyraf, tapi
Ya,
bukan related to this presentation lah. Cuma tadi tadi saya nak tanya tentang yang pasal consent.
Okay.
If let's say previously masa yang audisi ni ada macam prospective possible donor identification. So maksudnya macam yang masuk ICU dengan contoh GCS 5 ada severe injury ke apa. So I nak follow this patient sama ada dia jadi donor ke tak, ataupun dia just macam so what is the result of this patient lah. So sama ada dia donor, improve ke apa ke. So kita perlu consent untuk this patient ke macam mana? Sebab kita bukan
faham. Kita bukan habiskan dulu ayat.
Tak, sebab yelah macam, sebab kalau kita nak ambil consent, sebab kita nak tahu what is the result to this patient, tak semestinya dia akan jadi donor, so dia tak so dia akan mati ke apa, so kita tak tahu what is the
outcome lah
patient. So how so is it appropriate, is it perlu untuk ambil consent for this patient?
Okay. Alright, for that, you ada dua kemungkinan atau cara lah. Okay, first is yes, kalau you just, sebab you tak tahu what is the future outcome kan. Cumanya nak kena tengok juga dalam you punya proposal tu apa yang you nak tengok sebenarnya. Other than the outcome of are they going to become a donor or not, what else yang you nak tengok? Okay, and kenapa you come up to an outcome yang you kata nak tengok, adakah you akan check juga dia punya dari segi apa, dia punya apa yang lead to that ataupun macam mana?
Okay, so macam kita nak tengok daripada situ, case satu berapa yang jadi donor, and then satu yang jadi donor sebab apa? Ini ada sebab dia ada condition contraindication ke apa. So and then kita approach dia as macam kita dah detect dia as potential donor, adakah dia mungkin ada sebab lain, family refuse apa, sebab dia ada banyak
faham.
nak follow up this patient.
Betul. Okay, so if in that case requirement, yes, you kena dapatkan consent, tetapi because your study population involves subject yang GCS 5, so bila GCS 5 ni dia punya ability to give consent tu might be limited lah kan, betul tak? Atau memang tak boleh nak bagi pun. So in that case, the consent are coming from, kita panggil LAR, Legal Acceptable Representative. Meaning that, orang yang ada kuasa untuk bagi consent kepada dia juga. Which is for example, dia punya next of kin lah.
Okay, so macam mana sebab nanti untuk jadi donor tu dia akan ada, sebab kita perlukan consent daripada family.
Betul.
Untuk untuk jadi donor.
Okay.
So bukan, kalau kita ambil consent dengan family in the beginning, so dia takkan affect the consequence of the lepas.
So that is the thing yang you kena justify sebenarnya, betul? Yang you kena fikir. So all of that, the possible situation you kena include waktu you write up you punya tu. Okay, sebabnya if in that case, okay, so is it worth ataupun is it okay to do it prospectively? Faham tak? Is it feasible to do it prospectively? Okay, kalau you tengok the entire structure of your study, by right, it's much better to do that things retrospectively. Meaning that you memang takkan ada apa, maksudnya apa yang you boleh buat is mungkin hospital tu memang akan ada SOP untuk setiap yang masuk, okay, untuk tanya, untuk kita approach the patient family untuk kata adakah dia ada jadi donor atau tidak kan.
Okay.
Kan? So from there dah ada policy implement, then for a period of time you ambil balik the data and then you tengok, okay, antara patient yang agree and tak agree, apa dia punya yang berlaku sebelum tu. Adakah
Sebab yang retrospektif tu dah buat lah. Yang retrospektif tu pernah buat. So macam I memang dah buat that research lah retrospectively. So kalau kita change to prospectively, so dia how do you
apa macam you kena justify, you kena fikir kalau kita change for prospectively, will it change anything yang kita dapat daripada retrospectively? Will it add up anything?
Ya, sebab
apa beza?
In a way tu kita sebenarnya nak increase the donor. So macam sebab bila kita more macam kalau retrospektif ni macam dulu kita nak identify possible donor in the beginning pun kita macam dah tak follow up lah. Maksudnya kita dah miss out the beginning part. So macam yang ni kita akan follow up daripada the admission, semua follow up. So kita akan lebih nampak the whole situation. So and then okay, kenapa kita tak kenapa patient ni in the end kita tak jadi donor. Okay, so kenapa yang ni jadi donor.
But that macam okay, bagi saya je lah, this is just kita untuk discusskan apa benda tu pun kita still akan dapat juga kalau retrospektif, betul tak?
Betul.
Jadi apa added point untuk you buat benda tu secara prospektif? Kalau unless kalau you nak explore, katalah okay, at the end patient tu tak nak jadi organ donor because of the refusal. Kenapa dia refuse? You explore the refusal part tu, you nak tahu. So that you boleh propose maybe in the future ada engagement dengan patient, dengan family ke apa benda ke.
Sebab at that point tu sebab kita are lacking of identification part. In the identification part tu kita dah lacking. So macam bila kita follow up balik, maksudnya kita tak identify pun in the first place patient tu as possible donor. Maksudnya masa dia in the admission part lah macam tu. Okay, so kalau kita as prospectively, kita more actively kita identify, so in a way kita nak increase the donation lah macam tu.
Faham. Okay. I mean I get what you mean sebenarnya, faham. Cumanya itulah macam mana you nak write that in the proposal so that untuk bila reviewer ataupun bila you hantar ke ethics, dia orang akan nampak benda tu.
Yelah, sebab I macam kalau boleh kita tak nak minta consent to the family in the beginning, macam it will affect the
but then still requirement of ethics you kena consider jugalah. In ethics anything should be yang prospective, unless kalau you nak minta waiver of consent, tapi you kena justify kenapa you nak waiver.
Okay.
Kenapa you nak waiver? Kan contoh patient tu memang tak boleh nak bagi consent sebab dia GCS 5 contohlah memang dah impact mental function ke apa semua. So bila jadi macam tu, still the requirement by the law untuk dapatkan the next of kin kan. So sebab you kena macam at the same time kita kena fikir juga keperluan lain lah yang akan affect our study. Kalau kata you can ask for waiver of consent, tak ada masalah, cuma you kena justify betul-betul lah kenapa you tak nak consent tu. Sebabnya for me, kalau kata dari segi ethicsnya, that will be an ethics issue lah.
Okay.
Ethical issue yang kita akan tengok untuk your study sebenarnya. Tak ada kalau kata macam you nak, sebab you kata that will affect dari segi apa nama tu perception of family members kan, sebab at the end of it nanti dia akan the consent of organisation is coming from them as well.
Yes.
Tapi walaupun macam tu memang nak kena apa-apa pun memang nak kena pergi ke dia orang juga, then how you want to do with it.
Okay.
Macam itulah yang bagi saya tak tahu sebab saya nak kena baca the entire picture apa semua kan. But what I can advise, you can go, the best is to have the consent. Kalau tak nak consent, you can go for the waiver of the consent, tapi you kena justify kenapa you nak waiver of consent.
Okay.
Okay, will it affect the subject punya right kalau with the waiver of consent? Itu kan jadi isu-isu lah.
Okay, thank you Dr. Syah.
Problem.
Okay, kita buka one last question lah kalau ada any more question, and one more last question from the floor. And then after that kita wrap up the session. Okay, tak ada Okay lah. Alright. So if let's say kalau ada any questions, boleh always forward the question melalui kita punya WhatsApp group lah. Kita ada coordinator WhatsApp group. So if you guys ada any question pertanyaan on research ke apa ke, although saya punya pengetahuan tak se-extensive macam Dr. Asyraf punya knowledge, but I will try my best. Kalau tak dapat nak address, I will boleh tanya Dr. I will forward dekat Dr. Asyraf lah. Boleh
Boleh. It's okay. I mean, yeah. You can always either like through Zai ataupun boleh hantar email ke apa, tak ada masalah. Okay je.
Boleh email terus lah.
Okay, boleh email terus lah. Okay je, tak ada. Sebab kita still akan cuba untuk help juga dari segi, especially ethics lah. Kan, sebab organ donation, the issue is usually consent. Okay. Dengan apa nama tu, you punya organ apa inilah, because organ donation is can be something can be very controversial sometimes kan. Yeah, but then
one of the another challenges kalau untuk tulis write up with this proposal in a very newly explored area dekat Malaysia ni, in organ donation ni, is how do we translate the data that we are collecting into as a plan of action lah, so that sebab benda tu kita nak tengok whatever data yang kita kumpul apa semua, we have to come up with a tangible action, maknanya benda yang kita langkah tindakan yang boleh kita buat in order untuk mencapai objektif. So basically kita punya main objective is actually to increase the rate of organ donors kat Malaysia lah. There are a lot of ways, but how do we put it in words so that it's a doable thing tu yang usually the challenge lah, and because kita ada macam Dr. Diana said just now, kita ada missed opportunities of potential donors dekat hospital. So basically kita nak buat this prospective study is because we want to show that data, but in terms of what the data itself, how we going to translate it into an action is another
different thing.
Challenge lah. Anyhow, very interesting and very insyaAllah lah, sedikit sebanyak we be able to benefit from today's discussion, a very lengthy discussion. Memang saya admit lah, kalau research ni it's not a short, dia susah nak buat very short punya session. Dia usually always a few days, even pergi research workshop hari tu pun 3 days punya workshop. Itu pun tak cukup kan. So anyhow, I terima kasih banyak-banyak lah Dr. Syahmi sebab dapat sudi meluangkan masa pada hari ini dalam 2 jam setengah bersama kami, mengupas dan juga membincangkan bersama kami tentang sedikit sebanyak on ethics and also proposal writing, and also I also thank you for everyone yang stay towards the end untuk hadir hari ini. Don't forget to isi the attendance link so that we can see, we can gauge the feedback macam mana, and we'll see how lah in the future whether we want to do another session or macam mana. Okay, so with that we end this session lah. So have a good day everyone. Wabillahi by the way Dr. Asyraf, nak tanya yang slide second tu nanti boleh ni tak? Boleh kongsi ke?
Itulah sebabnya kalau kata ni, kalau boleh just you make a remark there lah, sebabnya saya bukan totally adopt 100% that slide. I just adapt juga sebab I do add my own point there.
Sure. Boleh nanti kita I put a watermark or something lah dekat dalam slide tu,
betul.
So that it will be easier for everyone to read nanti.
Betul. At least you acknowledge jugalah itu satu lagi part ethics yang you nak gunakan. Everything kalau kata it's not you, please acknowledge so that people are not, ni guys, but that is intellectual properties juga.
Yeah.
Okay. And from my side, I would like really to thank Dr. Zai because quite a short notice juga sebenarnya Dr. Zai contact saya kan, and I try my best because I do understand the situation of the segi ethics and research. It's a very long journey. And for the people to really understand it very well, you kena ada masa, you kena commitment dan sebagainya. So I wish all of you very good luck Kalau kata in case ada apa-apa question, you can contact Dr. Zai atau you can contact me, tak ada masalah. I will try my best to entertain your question. And my advice is you can be very optimis, okay, but then because you need to consider your time as well. Selalunya untuk master student ni you have a very limited time. Go for a very simple question yang you can answer. Okay, yes, you can be very optimistic. You nak try to change whatever guideline yang ada ke apa in the future, but then itu sebenarnya you boleh buat after you dah habis your master. You go for a research after that, which you have a lot more time, okay, a lot more resources. You can apply for grant. You can invite a lot of investigators together with you. But for this, because you nak habiskan you punya course je ni tau. So go for like a very easy and easier for you lah to do sebenarnya. Because from my personal opinion, sebenarnya untuk master program ni, it's just for you to have at least an idea of how to conduct the research. It's okay for you to contribute to your fraternity or whatsoever, but then the most important point untuk buat research dalam master program ni is for you to have the experience to conduct the research. Okay, don't go for a very susah punya question. Okay, go for easiest one. Okay, as long as you can justify, you can prove, you know how to conduct with a proper method and validation, then for me, I think, tak tahulah, but then sometimes the view can be different in university, you know. But then it's up. That is my nilai, sebab selalunya the issue is nanti bila you nak buat something yang very complicated, very complex, especially yang ada ethical issue dan sebagainya, it will consume your time, especially nak dapatkan ethical approval. Itu masalah dia sebenarnya. So nanti end up kita dapat nak complete whatever yang you plan during the period yang you diberi masa tu. Okay, please consider that. Okay, but then I'm always happy kalau to entertain whatever question yang akan ada lah. I'm wishing you guys a very good luck. Okay, alright. Thank you very much. I'm so sorry from my point kalau ada apa-apa salah ke apa-apa ke tak ni ke sebab yalah. With the time that we have, I try my best to help you guys. Alright.
Thank you,
Okay.
thank you, Asyraf. Thank you, Dr. Zaidani.
Thank you everyone.
Alright, thank you everyone.
Okay. Dengan itu kita sudahi dengan wabillahi taufiq wa hidayah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.